apologize. A little more technical difficulty. Everything should be fairly good now. So we're coming into the middle of Game 1. Kevin Jones, Josh Pellerin. Kevin on Bank Company. And what's Josh playing over there, Jim?
Josh is playing some green-white tokens. Looks to be OSIP's main deck from last week. Some slight changes in the sideboard, but for the most part, pretty stock list.
And of course, you're very familiar with what Kevin's playing.
Yes.
You know, this is your team's list by and large.
Daddy Bant. Yeah, he's made a few little changes from last week, but mostly just the same deck.
So Kevin looks to be off to a pretty good start here. He's got, well, more than start, but I mean, he's got the he's got Reflector Mage sitting there with your blink effects up. He's got a fully turned on Sylvan Advocate, and Josh seems to have not much on the board other than an Oath of Nissa. Doesn't block very well.
Important too is that Kevin has 2 colorless sources as well.
Yep.
For his Displacer. But deck only plays 4 coasts and 1 waste.
So Archangel Avacyn looks like it's getting flashed in here. He's probably just gonna, I would imagine, blink that, right?
Yeah, that probably end up back into Josh's hand. Also, Kevin has the 1 of Jace in play on 6 as well with Company in the yard. Kevin is firmly in the driver's seat. Okay.
Yep. So he just blinks and hits for lethal, and we move on to game 2. All right.
Yeah, once the Displacer Reflector Mage combo gets online against tokens, you're pretty far ahead. All hangerbacks are worthless. Avacyn, you just play it and get it bounced. Definitely a very potent combination. Also, of course, you can blank tokens as well.
The mirror match too. The 3/3 stats on that thing's not pointless.
Right. Yeah. In a world of 2/3s, I mean,
attack's fine.
Definitely a well-sized creature.
The attack's fine. So you were saying, you guys. So Kevin's list is a split Jace and Nissa, and you were saying that obviously Jace, not such a good card anymore. The deck's more tempo where you need a turn 2 play that can attack and that Dramoka's Command can play with. Definitely.
Kevin only has 4 Sylvan Advocate and 3 Dustwatch Recruiter as creatures that you can use to Dramoka's Command on turn 3. Selfless Spirit is good. There's 3 copies of it, but it's not great with Dramoka's Command, obviously, because it doesn't win many fights, even with the toughness boost. So, I mean, it looks a little light there, but he has the 1 Jace, the 1 Nissa as well. Nissa is very, very good in this deck, because this deck is very, very good at using its mana and often goes into longer games. And Nissa can stay in play and accrue an advantage without having to use your mana, which is great.
Most of the times I've seen her flip these days, no minus for a 4/4. It's just all about card draw.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, the 4/4 only comes up usually when you're really, really far behind, or you're just looking to close a game very, very quickly, which doesn't happen very often.
So now we've got on the other side, with Perlin's deck, we have OSIP's basic main deck, as you said, 3 copies of Tragic Arrogance.
Yes, it's a lot.
And you were mentioning your team not really a fan of the Tragic Arrogance in the main board.
Right. Andrew plays this deck a lot and really thinks that it's important to be ahead with this deck. And obviously, Tragic Arrogance is a card you usually play from behind with. This deck's all about putting Planeswalkers in play, getting your good curve out, and you really want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And Sylvan Advocate, Nissa, Gideon, Avacyn on 5, and kind of just keep pressing your advantage. And Tragic Arrogance is a card that obviously can get you out of trouble, but doesn't really play well with that theme. The card's obviously very good against Band Company because they don't really have an answer to it game 1. Costs 5 right out of Spell Queller range, and then of course it can mop up Spell Quellers that are already in play. So between that and the interaction with Hangerback Walker, it's not surprising to see an Arrogance cast within this deck that'll release 2 spells off Spell Quellers and kill a Hangerback to get you a bunch of tokens as well, which is pretty good.
Seen some decks earlier today playing copies of Secure the Waste in here with Westfell Abbey, which I think Josh and I thought was kind of not needed, just a little cute, considering the deck wants to make tokens, wants to make creatures anyway. If you're going to bring Westfell Abbey online, the deck's kind of already doing that.
Definitely, yeah. That's a card that Andrew doesn't like much at all. It's definitely kind of overkill when it's good. It's good in some matchups, but overall the Abbey combination just often isn't necessary.
Right. So Kevin and Josh shuffling up for game 2 now. Kevin up 1 game. You think Kevin takes you guys all the way to the finish line on this one?
I mean, up a game, he's playing a deck he's very, very comfortable with. Kevin is very good with these kind of decks. I mean, these tricky, sort of like flashy blue decks that have a lot of interaction, Kevin's just right at home. This matchup is definitely, I think, slightly in Kevin's favor. Also, the thing is, now post-board, Tragic Arrogance is no longer a surprise. So, and Kevin will be bringing in 2 negates for sure. So he has an answer to Tragic Arrogance, and if Josh taps out to cast Tragic Arrogance and it gets negated, that's probably going to end the game on the spot.
Right. And of course, always the risk post-board with those negates.
Definitely. And they're also just very good in general against Gideon and Nissa and so on and so forth.
So when you're, what do you want to see if you're Kevin in your opening hand here? What's a good opener versus Josh on the draw, obviously?
It's pretty similar to most of your good openers at Band Company in general. Just like 2-drop, 3-drop into Company, some interaction. A negate would be great. Jamoka's Command is like not really that good in this matchup. All you're really fighting is like Advocate maybe. So that's a card that probably will come out. Declaration sounds pretty good. It can deal with a bunch of tokens and Avacyn as well. But yeah, I mean, just a good curve. I mean, the goal is to put pressure on, to have good pressure for the Planeswalkers, and kind of like not let them get their kind of like vice grip set up, where we're just like making a token, doing something, saying go, and not letting him attack profitably.
Sure. And if you're if you're Josh here, obviously it looks from the sideboard. I would imagine your clip wings are, well, maybe not clip wings. Your aerial volley's definitely coming in.
I can see the volley coming in because the combination of the Selfless Spirit and the Spellcaller would probably be enough to warrant one copy of that. Otherwise,
it doesn't look like there's...
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan really is. It's definitely kind of like a planning deck where you want to have a plan when you're boarding cards in and boarding cards out. Not being too familiar with the matchup is from the token side. Declaration seems good. Nissa's definitely fine. I mean, the game's going to go a little bit longer, but I think that Josh has a bit of the inevitability, so Kevin wants to close it out.
Speaking of the Selfless Spirit, there it is coming in for 2 at Josh. Josh has played Evolutionary Leap with 1 mana up. Of course, nothing to sack to it. So it looks like Kevin, making his land drop, playing his Recruiter. Passing it back to Josh.
This is a very good start here, because Kevin has 2 creatures in play already. And we're at that point where like Josh can play Gideon. I guess he can't even play Gideon because he has a tap land. So Josh is playing way off curve here. Yeah. And this is a deck that, like I said before, it really wants to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's hard to keep hands that aren't able to do that.
So deck and stone.
It's a declaration on the Recruiter.
Josh a clue.
Try and stem the bleeding a bit, but the problem is like you never really want to play the leap early. I mean, Kevin's probably boarded out some number of Jamoka's commands, so it's not really vulnerable, but like it just doesn't do anything. And it's just so important for both these decks to do as many things as possible on the early turns to avoid falling behind. Both decks want to get ahead and get ahead fast.
Right. Well, Kevin, let's see. Can't see what he's got in his hand, obviously, because he's just throwing it right there on the table. You know, it's a shame he's just not more attentive to us up here in the booth. So there's his tracker, obviously, then sequencing correctly, playing the land, getting another clue token. Coming in for another 2 in the air. That'll put Josh to 16. He'll untap and draw. Looks like he drew an Avacyn, maybe?
Well, it's hard to tell with the checklist cards. Could be Westvale Abbey or an Avacyn. Probably Avacyn. See, now here's the problem, is that Josh has Gideon in his hand. He's multiple Gideons. But because he's fallen behind in the early turns, Gideon isn't going to do much. I mean, Kevin already has 2 attackers, and I think that cost 4. There we go. Yep. And Kevin already has 2 attackers, including a flyer. So Gideon's going to make a token here, but you're not really going to make much headway. It can't block profitably. And again, Gideon is a card that, like, when you get out in front, it's great. When you're behind,
not so good.
Yeah, it's not doing so good.
Particularly with a deck that plays flyers. And obviously, the previous iterations, the deck kind of had some problems with flyers. But now,
definitely,
with the new set coming out, you guys have gotten some great tools to kind of solve that issue. Playing in land, getting himself another clue. Kevin Jones going to come in for 2 in the air at Gideon.
Interesting. So Kevin's brought in Tragic Arrogance.
Yes, he has.
That surprises me a little bit. Very interesting. Kevin also has his 1 Avacyn as well.
And a Sylvan Advocate, it looks like.
All right, so now this is pretty big. So Josh has his 5th land here for Avacyn. And of course, with Evolutionary Leap in play, he can sort of flip Avacyn at will, which is going to be an important thing. The striker is already starting to get a little crazy here. And of course, Kevin has his own Avacyn up as well. So
now, if Avacyn does flip here, Kevin, it looks like with all that open mana, Kevin could keep the tracker in play. Could pop enough clues to kind of keep it around and make it big.
That is true. Yeah, I would say Kevin is definitely in the driver's seat so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Josh tanking for a minute. Trying to figure out what the best line here is.
It's amusing that they actually both have a copy of Tragic Arrogance in their hands.
Okay, he's gonna plus Gideon up, go to town. No blocks from Kevin.
That's pretty aggressive.
Huh. So I guess Kevin's going to pop at least 1, if not 2 clues here.
I think what Josh was thinking there is I think he might have been trying to draw out the Avacyn to induce a block so he could post-combat Tragic Arrogance.
Sure.
I mean, Kevin saw it. Kevin did not take the bait and is very happy just stacking some clues, drawing some cards, and getting Tracker up to a pretty good size.
Sure. I mean, all Kevin needs is, any sort of. All Kevin needs at this point is to continue to have that Tracker kind of take control of the game, and all that card advantage is going to put him well across the finish line, one would imagine. Of course, Tragic Arrogance may have something to say about that.
That's the thing, though, is that if Kevin can keep kind of just playing lands, drawing cards, maintaining a good hand size without committing too much to the board,
sure,
then the Arrogance isn't going to be very good.
Right.
Which is often the problem because Band Company is so good at just drawing cards with recruiters and with Tyrus Trackers and companies. It can rebuild pretty quick. So as long as Kevin doesn't have to go too far into the board, the Arrogance is not going to be too good.
And Kevin's got to know that Josh is playing with Arrogance's post-board at the very least. I mean, he's a professional after all.
Yes, and they once again, they both have Arrogance, and they both have Avacyn, too.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes the Avacyn.
Okay. Kevin tapping down some lands here.
And it's safe to assume that Kevin has a plan for this, given that Tokens plays 4 Avacyn.
Yep.
The 5th land comes in, and they say go. You're pretty sure what's going on. And it looks like he has a Focus Command, yeah.
Okay, so he's just going to...
Right, so this is going to be a great sequence for Kevin. So he's using the command to fight with the Tracker, but pumping the Spirit to kill the Gideon. So definitely a huge turn.
With Avacyn's trigger on the stack, obviously. Yeah. So no Indestructible for Josh. And that is a pretty huge blowout. Josh with no mana open to even get any value off of his Avacyn to sack it and maybe find something else.
Now Kevin's deciding if he wants to put another creature in play.
And I think if you're Kevin here, you just kind of sit back. I mean, you've got a flyer. It's a 3-1. That's not, or a 3-2. That's not nothing. You can just keep beating down.
The thing is that Kevin has so many cards in his hand. He has a Nissa. He has more creatures. I think playing a creature is fun.
Fair
because a Tragic Arrogance, I mean, if Kevin's left with a 4/5 Advocate or a huge Tracker or a 3-power flyer, none of those are really that bad. Kevin only has 1 clue in play. So Kevin's only going to lose 2 creatures. And they're all quality creatures.
Right.
If Kevin ended up with like a used up Reflector Mage or something like that, it'd be kind of bad. But in this spot, Kevin's got plenty of gas. He has an Avacyn, he has a Nissa, and the Arrogance isn't going to be that backbreaking.
It looks like he's got an Aerial Volley in hand as well, and another Avacyn maybe. It's a
flip card. It's probably an Avacyn.
Yeah. I don't know if that deck plays any other flip cards.
We have the one Westvale Abbey.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be a Westvale Abbey.
All right, so, Josh is basically forced into making this play anyway because it just kills 2 creatures. Oh, that's pretty good, actually. So now he can kill the 2 ground creatures and then use Aerial Volley on the Selfless Spirit.
Yep.
So, he's cleaning the board up a bit, but again, Kevin just has so much gas in his hand. I don't think it's going to matter that much. Josh will have access to Avacyn plus sacrifice a creature for leap next turn, which is pretty big. But, again, Kevin just has so much gas.
So beaten down for 2. Kevin Jones goes down to 12. Josh with the 1 mana open to go find something off of Evolutionary Leap if he wants to at the end of Kevin's turn. Depends pretty much on what Kevin plays, and he certainly has a lot of options in his hand right now. There's Nissa. Go find the land, flip her. Seems wonderful.
Yeah. Nice lands, too. You get Kevin with these sweet, I'm not sure which lands they are, but they're very, very nice. And then Josh here sporting the 8th edition white bordered basics.
Oh, you purist, you.
Going for some tilt factor, I'm tilted. It's working. So
you're telling me if you get beat with a guy with white border lands, it stings more, huh?
A little bit. It's funny, actually. I'll occasionally I'll build Nicole decks, and I'll give her, she'll play Burn, and I'll be like, you're playing the white bordered lands today.
Oh, come on.
You got to get him. That's what goes around comes around,
Fair enough. So Kevin beating in for 3, putting Josh at 13. Plays Nissa, draws off her. Plays another Sylvan Advocate. Seems fine.
So now again, we're in a spot where Kevin's deciding how much to commit to the board. He has another Advocate. He's deciding if he should play it or not. Looks like he has an Avacyn and an Arrogance as well.
And that other land, is that a blue land, that other land? I can't see with the glare. It's just saying the Bluff Spell Queller. Although,
Right here.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
I'm not sure.
Doesn't matter. You guys don't... Nothing in that deck that's a one mana instant speed.
It is a Prairie Stream.
Yeah, it is a Prairie Stream. I was going to say you could try keeping it up to buff for Queller, but at this point I don't know that Josh is going to care. I mean, I think you just play and hope that you don't have it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Josh's spells are also kind of immune to Queller because, like,
Right.
Avacyn, Tragic Arrogance are the big ones right now. Gideon's not going to swing this game too much, something like that, or a Nissa. So Kevin knows the important spells are not really Quellerable.
Aerial Volley still in hand. Probably an Avacyn probably still in hand.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty surprised to see that Josh did not Aerial Volley the Selfless Spirit at the end of Kevin's turn, because now he can't set up an Avacyn flip with the Spirit still in play. I guess the Advocates are too big anyway.
Yeah.
So
Drawing on, playing his land.
the question is, like, when is he going to fire this Aerial Volley off? I mean, how long can you wait? We took 3 damage there extra. Josh is at 13. You know, the clock's ticking. And there are some very large creatures in play.
And those Advocates only get worse when you start playing some creature lands as well.
Yes.
So he'll pop the clue and draw. Kevin's draw looks to be a Yavimaya Coast, I think. And 6 cards in hand. 5 cards. Can't tell, he keeps flipping them too quickly. Play Forest for the turn. So he's got an Arrogance. Yavimaya Coast looks like maybe an Avacyn in hand.
Oh, he's an Avacyn, yes.
Yeah. So he is going to town with everything on the board, it looks like. And that is a measly 2/2 to block, but it's going to get some help. So Josh flashing an Avacyn, making everything indestructible, assuming Kevin has no response, which I can't imagine he would with his hand. So now the question is, what do you block? Double
It's
block
kind of
there.
awkward again because of his Spirit, because we can double block the Advocate, but then we're still taking 7 damage. And again, that Aerial Volley is still floating around.
And Kevin seems, I mean, Kevin's just fine with getting rid of that Advocate. I mean, letting it die.
Right. I mean, Kevin's at the point where he's pushing through damage.
Yep.
There's plenty of big things to do. And again, I'm still a little confused as to why this Aerial Volley is still just kind of hanging out, you know? I mean, we're waiting for a time to use it, but
I mean,
time is...
I'm almost positive that's an Aerial Volley. I could be totally wrong, but I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't take it with you to the next game.
No.
You know, you got to use it at some point.
Well, here's the problem. If you don't use that thing quick, there isn't going to be a next
That is
game.
true. You can't use it on the car ride home. You know?
You can look at it on the car ride
Yeah.
home and get angry at
It
yourself.
sure is a nice Aerial Volley.
All right, tap 1 mana, sack for Evolutionary Leap.
Leap's trying up a Hangerback Walker. Interesting. I mean, can provide some blockers to buy some time.
Yeah.
I mean, now we're going to see an Avacyn flip, which I guess we'll deal with the Selfless Spirit. But the problem is that, like,
Those Advocates are huge.
yeah, and Aerial Volley doesn't have that many targets
Yep.
in Kevin's deck. So, like, right now the Spirit's being killed by the Avacyn, which kind of blanks the Volley. I mean, I guess the Avacyn wasn't going to kill much anyway, theoretically. But,
I mean, the shame of it is if he had used the Volley turns before, well, I guess it wouldn't matter anyway. Avacyn flips and then doesn't kill anything. But, I mean, now, you know, if had there been other stuff on the field, he could just sack that Spirit. I agree with you. I don't know why that thing isn't dead. It's not like you're committing a lot. It's a 1 casting cost instant spell.
right.
Okay.
All right, so we
He
see...
flashes in his own Avacyn. This is... And could sack the Spirit on the end of his turn if he wanted to flip Avacyn. Well, he's not going to do that. That's going to wipe his board. Never mind. See, this is why you guys are pros and I'm here commentating.
I'm just watching, you know. We got things trying to be purified, but Archangel Avacyn says, no. I recant my future self, and I'm going to protect everything I can. So 3 damage goes to the Nissa, but still kicking.
Yep.
And, of course, Avacyn is indestructible to block as well. So Josh is in a precarious spot here, to say the least.
So you got looks like a Hangerback Walker, Oath of Nissa, Aerial Volley, and a land maybe in his hand. So he's going to go search with Oath, see if he can dig up something good. And that's not great. Although,
Is that another Avacyn?
I hope
Looks
that's
like
not
it.
a Westville Abbey.
Looks like it. So,
No,
I mean,
there's worse
we can,
things.
We can make a Hangerback on 2. We can sack it and make some blockers. I mean...
You can flash in another Avacyn.
Right. The issue here, though, is I'm not really seeing what the end game is.
Right.
You know, we're pretty behind on the board. I mean, how are we getting back in this game? You know, I mean, an Arrogance would be good. We have no way to really find an Arrogance. And even then, Kevin still has a few cards in hand, a Planeswalker, and 4 good creatures.
So he's going to make a 2/2 Hangerback, which at the very least he'll sack for value and maybe get some tokens to block Chump with. Of course, he doesn't know that Kevin has Arrogance in hand. But I don't think Kevin's going to fire that off here.
Yeah, the Arrogance. I mean, now that the Oath of Nissa is in play, the Arrogance is a little more appealing because it can kill the Evolutionary Leap.
Yep.
But I mean, Kevin's so far ahead that it's just not really what you want to be doing. Again, like I said, I'm kind of surprised Kevin brought that card in. I'm curious. I'll talk to him about that. Yeah, I just think that Kevin's a little more on the offensive, and it seems like Arrogance is a reasonable card against him. I mean, again, we saw them both have it. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of like, this is interesting, you know?
Yeah. I mean, Spell Queller. I mean, it's kind of just hanging out in his hand.
Right.
No reason to use it.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a spot where it's even been close to good yet.
Although he's on the draw, so maybe he's thinking if I get on the back foot, this is a good way to kind of put me back in the game.
That's reasonable.
Okay.
Just always interesting, you don't see both decks sideboard and a Wrath of God effect at the same time. Usually when they both do it, it's like, well, usually one wants it and one doesn't.
Right.
You know?
In this case, of course, both decks have the ability to clog the board up, so Kevin coming in with everything.
So here's a sacrifice.
Yep.
As predicted.
Gonna go look at the top cards, see what he can find. There's our Thopter tokens.
Nice. Another Avacyn. So we have lots of Avacyns to go around.
Yeah, man. Avacyn being an all-star this game. So.
All right. So that's going to be the game. 3 damage through, and the Avacyn flip will finish it off.
So we'd love to take you guys to another match, but it looks like they're all wrapping up, which is kind of nice. We kind of briskly progress through this top 8 to the next round. So Kevin Jones will progress into round 2 of the top 8. Josh, unfortunately, going home, but put up a good fight, particularly being on the back foot.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, he had some rough draws in the start of that game with some lands coming and tapping stuff. Was able to battle through for a while.
But definitely scrapping it. Not gonna just give up. So de-sideboarding now. Let's see. They're not gonna show what they put in. I'd be interested to know what Josh put into his deck. Obviously, Aerial Volley plays 3 Tragic Arrogance. There's a negate off Kevin. Brought an Avacyn in.
Yes, Kevin has a second Avacyn in his sideboard.
What do you think about Tamiyo? Not necessarily in this matchup. I mean, just in general.
Tamiyo is a very swingy card. Mm-hmm. There's times where it's just been like unbelievably good. Okay. I both played it and played against it.
And well, it looks like we're going to commercial, guys. So I don't think we're going to be able to hear that thought. Sorry about that.
That's cool.
Oh, okay. Keep going.
Now we're back. But yeah, Tamiyo is a card that's like, when it's good, it's very, very good. Mm-hmm. When it's bad, it's very, very bad.
Okay.
I played some matchups in Columbus where like you play it, you draw 2 cards off it, you tap their blockers and just kill them really fast. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Then you play it and get languished, and you just don't have any creatures in play because they keep killing them, and it literally just sits there and does nothing. Mm-hmm. It's a very weird card. I think it's a card that like will get a lot better once Company rotates. Mm-hmm. I think it's like just clearly not as good as Company is, and like because Company dictates you only play so many non-creature spells,
right? You're
only in like 1 or 2 flex spot range.
Sure.
It's 4 Democracy Command, 4 Company, and you have like 1 or 2 slots to play with. So I think that post-rotation, I think it's a card that we're going to get a lot better. It's definitely a card you want to play in a deck that's very, very aggressive and very, very on the front foot.
Right.
And you want to go 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop Tamiyo.
Right.
In that scenario, it's very, very good.
I've always thought that, and I said earlier today that once Company rotates out, there's got to be a band mid-range, a band.
Sure.
The cards are still all really good.
Sure, yeah. And the thing is that like the new human too. It's like the 3/3 flash creature for 4. It's a green and white and 2.
Yep.
It comes in and gives your guys like +1/+1 and lifelink.
Yeah.
That's a really good card.
Oh yeah.
Like a really good card. But again, it doesn't fit the flex spot, so you can't play it.
I mean, you could, on a deck that's got a higher curve, doesn't care about 3 and under creatures. I mean, you've got an Ishkanai you can bring in. You've got all these other really good printed cards that this deck's not playing because it just doesn't fit the game plan. Obviously.
Definitely, yeah. There's definitely some very major deck building restrictions with Band Company and with all Company decks.
I mean, and how do you guys sort of work out those flex spots? Because I played your deck in some competitive events, and it's always, and then I played Rally the Ancestors back when that was a deck, and that it's a similar deck in that it wants a lot of creatures, it wants to hit off Collected Company, and I always had a difficult time at figuring out what is okay to take out? What's the number of what's my creature count that I've got to keep to make sure I'm hitting correctly? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. I mean, how do you guys kind of attack that? And I know that's pretty nebulous. It depends on the matchup, but
I mean, the count's 25. That's our line.
Okay.
I mean, I believe it was 25 in Baltimore. It's funny because like I won that tournament and I had 3 whiffs and probably like 10 where I only hit 1 creature.
Wow.
And we were playing 24 or 25 in the tournament. I think 25 is the bare minimum. And the problem is when you're deck building, you can pull that off. You get 4 company, 4 Jamoka's Command, maybe 1 flex spot, and you're good. The problem is sideboarding.
Right.
Because you need to bring in these cards like Negate, Ojai's Command, Declaration Stone, these utility cards that have certain utility in certain matchups that you just need. You have to kill Kalidas, or you have to counter their Planeswalker. But you can only have so many spells in your deck. And you can't afford to board out creatures and go down to like 22 or 23. So it's like, there's a huge amount of tension there. And the sideboard, it's very hard to build your sideboard because you want to play some creatures, but obviously creatures have much less effect on a game than spells do. So it's tough. It's very, very tough. I think 25 is the baseline. If you can get a little more, you can do it. A wild daddy has appeared.
Daddy has appeared.
Hey, how you doing, Kev?
What's up, bud?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty academic game 1, and then a pretty interesting game 2 towards the end there.
Yeah, I gotta ask you, why'd you bring in Tragic Arrogance?
Kept like a reset button, like
Like
an
what-
escape.
Because you have a draw, or?
I was on the draw, yeah, but like you never know, man. Sometimes it's the only card that can save you from some weird situations.
It's like from our angle, it's very funny because you guys both had Tragic Arrogance.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, and like if he can't extend because he knows he has it, so I'm never gonna get him with mine until he gets me with his,
Right.
sure.
which is like super weird.
It's like this chicken and egg scenario.
Yeah.
But like I'm just drawing so many cards, and like you know,
Right, well, that's what I was
it
saying.
was such a good. The game played out very well for me, so like I never really had to do it, which is like.
Stay there, Kev. I'll get you a chair.
Oh no, I could have gotten the chair. I'm just a fool and decided not to do that.
Daddy stands. Daddy don't need no chair. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You
Thank you.
played the game very well because you were able to manage your resources in a way where you had a strong hand and a strong board, but Tragic Arrogance wasn't backbreaking for you at all.
No.
Like, you had 3 good creatures in play. And if you lost 2 of them, you still had about 6 cards in hand, a clue in play. You were in great shape either way.
You seem to have gotten yourself to the point where all you had to do was sit, make it bigger, draw cards, and just wait.
Well, yeah. I mean, to an extent, there was one turn where like I need to start pressuring his Gideon, and like I drew Dramoka's Command that turn, which was super lucky, and then like he flashed in the Avacyn before damage. Like I just attacked with the Selfless Spirit at Gideon.
Right. Yeah, that's
Flashed in the Avacyn before damage, and I like popped a clue, and then Dramoka's commanded counter on the Spirit, fight the Tracker and the Avacyn. So the Spirit was now 3, and it killed Gideon.
Yeah, that was a good turn.
It was all like a little woven, like beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And
And so that was a draw step, Jamoka's Command?
yeah,
Okay.
That's how a
but
daddy,
I
that's
like
how a
end of
daddy
turn,
does it.
I drew 2 cards end of turn off.
Sure.
clues.
It
was. He's lucky I didn't hit it earlier.
No, of course. I say that in jest, but yes. And that's the thing is Jamoka's Command is very, very good against defensive Avacyns because they just got to play it.
Because if it's a defensive Avacyn, you're attacking with big creatures.
Exactly.
It's
So
not a defensive Avacyn when you have 2/2/1s in play. You know.
right,
No.
exactly.
Yeah. No. It's.
A whole lot of Avacyn's flying around, though.
No, it's like the best card in Standard, probably.
Avacyn.
I think so. It's like
It's a bold statement.
it's super powerful and does something that no other card does a lot of the time, but it also just is solid in like, I'll run my guys into your guys. I'll make some blocks. Okay, all your guys are dead. Like sometimes that happens too.
So it's a combat trick on a stick sometimes.
yeah. And also, even against control, it's like, oh, you get to keep up mana all the time, and like you have a threat that
Sure.
like you don't really have to do much other than just cast it. Like, have you just like ambushed an Ojai with Avacyn ever? It's just
I have not
ludicrous.
done that. I kind of wish I have, though. That sounds sweet.
It's a thing that you can do. I don't know, maybe not the best card in Standard, but it's definitely up there. Like last weekend in Baltimore, like the Bant mirror matches were just revolving around it, like completely.
Yeah,
like,
I
so
felt
many of
that
the mirrors
too.
I played, it was just the only thing that mattered. And if they had Selfless Spirit, they could like engineer it so that it happened on their terms, and it just made the matchup seem like really, really tough.
Yeah, it was definitely in a spot where I was not playing any. And
I was playing
you were
one
playing
and one.
Yeah, like I had none. And I would have to just like try and get Displacer going or Reflector Mage and like kind of just work around it, which is probably just a worse idea than just
But
playing
then
it.
you're in a spot where like your fail safe, like your way to get out of the trouble is by tapping 6 mana in your own upkeep.
Right.
Or whatever. It's just like
Sure.
not a good thing that you want to be doing.
No, for sure.
Which is why the card is so good, because you have like once you get it into play, the rest of like the Avacyn like lines or the Avacyn like play patterns are like involve just like poking your vigilant guy at them and saying go.
Right.
And like it just plays very well with the rest of the deck.
So now with the PT, I can ask both you guys now because you're here. You're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
So now with the PT list coming out, and obviously you're going to have to see how sort of the meta shakes out over the next week or so for your next event. And if you don't want to divulge this on camera because you're probably going up against some people watching, but I mean, what do you guys think are you comfortable playing Band Company next week?
Well, next week we're going to be playing Modern, and I'm trying to play
Right,
Band
so
Company,
you wouldn't
but
be
they
playing
won't let
Band
me
Company
because
or
apparently
in
it's
your
not
ne-
as good in Modern.
In your next standard event. Sorry, I forgot it's Modern.
The Invitational, the Invitationals are different. Like still, like your hypothetical. Okay, sorry. So like, if you were going to ask this question, if there was a Standard Open next weekend, I would say yes. I'm totally comfortable playing Band Company. I think that it's pretty good against most of the PT decks as well. I think that red-green deck could be a little troublesome. Like ramp type decks are always kind of good against Band, but Displacer adds a whole nother dimension. Like sometimes they Emrakul you and your end of turn is like, oh, tap your Emrakul with Displacer, and then they can't even like run the they can't even the conventional Mind Flavor is like run your Advocate into my Emrakul, or run your Spell Queller into my Emrakul, block, get my thing back.
Right.
But like they can't even do that. You just tap their guy.
Right, you're not playing many spells you can actually use to negative value. It's like you're just playing a bunch of creatures.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Cast Company? Sure, go ahead, cast my Company. Yeah. Fine. You know, like, all right.
You can't Reflector Mage your own stuff.
Right.
And like I'm hesitant to even bring in the declarations because this can happen.
Right.
Like I bring in declarations if they have Kalitas because it's just easier than, trying to like jump through hoops
Keep
to
it
deal
off
with
the
Kalitas.
board,
Yeah.
Like because just Selfless Spirit is your best card in a lot of situations. It's less so against the Black Delirium decks, but still like you wanna have declarations there because of things like Kalitas, things like maybe big trackers. You never know what they could have. Stupid Spider and his minions.
Ishkana,
Yeah, that stuff's all the declaration's good against that stuff. So you'd probably bring it into that matchup. But like the Rug Emerge deck, I boarded in one of my 2 declarations and just like a bunch of counter spells.
Right.
I boarded in like 2 Ojutai's commands, 2 summary dismissals. Like I was super ready for Emerge decks for this weekend specifically. I just stuffed a bunch of stuff that's good against them in my sideboard.
Yeah,
I thought people would just copy the decks verbatim and try to play them without any experience whatsoever.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I copied the deck verbatim and played it with no experience, and then I lost the Band Company when my older Deep Fiends were summarily dismissed back-to-back turns, and it was backbreaking. So yeah, that card is definitely a very, very good answer to Elder Deep Fiend and Kozilek's Trigger and Sanctum's Trigger and all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, mostly Kozilek's Trigger and the tap trigger.
Right.
Because like you're usually the game plays out in a way that like you have a board presence, and then what they do is their Haymakers, Elder Deep Fiend, plus Flashback Kozilek's Return. It undoes all the work you did, and then it gets bad for you.
Right.
But like, if you just brick it every single time they try to do it, like you can brick it with Selfless Spirit, and then they can choose not to do it.
Right.
This is actually really interesting. Like they can choose not to do it, and then they can untap and chain Deep Fiends and just do it again.
Right.
After you've already burned your spirit. But like the reason why dismissal is good is because it stops them from tapping your guys and treading water in the meantime.
Right.
Like usually they can't make that line if they take 8 every time they do it. The
thing is also that like committing to a Deep Fiend is a commitment. You tap a good amount of lands and you sacrifice a creature.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Like
if you do that and then nothing happens that turn for you because every part of it gets countered, then a big attack is coming and you're in the same spot the next turn.
And yeah, like the opportunity cost of committing to the Deep Fiend is not as much if you end up guaranteed to get the tap trigger. Like the worst case scenario is you only like fog them or whatever and make them expend a bunch of resources.
Exactly.
But like if they can completely like counteract every aspect of the commitment, then you really are just tapping 8 mana and getting nothing.
Yeah, that's what I did. Right. And then I lost.
Yeah.
So you were saying going into the invitational is a little different than an open. So how's that different in prep for you guys?
I mean, and Jim can speak to this too. Like I said, I think that I would be fine with playing Bant in open next weekend or whatever. I'm really comfortable with it, and I think that it's still pretty good. But in invitational, like basically, well, for this one specifically, we're gonna knuckle down. Like we're gonna get real serious. We're gonna treat it like a pro tour because with the team and everything, like we're traveling around, like. Like these opens are our GPs, so like we're gonna treat the invitational like it's a pro tour, and consequentially, like we're gonna hole up a day before or whatever, and really get some good work done. But generally, like deck selection for invitationals, you hedge toward like decision-based decks. Like in modern, like if you pick a deck in Modern that like is good against Jeskai / Grixis, it's good against like Abzan Company, and is good against Jund, like you probably have a good Modern deck. Because like the people at these tournaments, most like it's split. Like the good people play like, you know, the smart and thin decks. Like the control decks or like the Jund decks that are like, you know, there's decisions at each point of the curve.
The high interaction decks.
Yeah, the most interactive decks, exactly. And then the people who won standard qualifiers have no idea what to do, all play Burn. Or Infect.
Or Boggles
Yeah,
or whatever.
Affinity, whatever.
Living
So-
End.
No, wait a minute. A good friend of yours plays Boggles.
Oh, Dan? I'm not going to speak to that nonsense on the
fine.
stream.
No problem.
No, Boggles is one of those decks that is
Sure.
a good invitational deck choice because
Right.
it interacts well with the interactive decks by forcing them to not interact. That was a
Correct.
roundabout way of saying that.
Correct, yeah,
That's
it's-
exactly what I mean.
It's a scary spot because like you're planning for interactive decks, but you know the threat of the linear decks is always looming, and it's scary because those decks are often good against the interactive decks in certain ways. If you're not ready for Boggles, they're gonna get you. If you're not ready for Affinity, they're gonna get you, and so on and so forth.
And like it holds true in Standard as well because like while Standard is a lot of people playing like either the hot deck of the week or the deck that they like, that they play every single week at FNM or whatever. Standard's also like people will play the people who are like ringers who don't go to the opens every weekend and like go to the NV, like someone like Sam Black or someone like Ben Friedman who doesn't go to every single open, but like will definitely go to the NV. I've seen Jacob Wilson and Party and those type of guys. Those guys will pick up like the good Delirium deck or like a good Band Company deck, and they'll just be like, well, I'm just going to make decisions and I'll play people.
Right.
So like it's important to think that there's a higher number of like the the interactive decks in Standard as well. So like deck choice for an invitational is much different than deck choice for open. Deck choice for open, we're just like, oh, we're just going to play Bant because we're confident in our ability to make like the decisions in these spots. We're going to be basically at the top of the food pyramid, and like people are also going to be playing Bant, but they're going to be like making tough decisions against us, and that's like a good spot to be in.
Right.
Because not everybody's going to make the right ones for like 15 rounds in a row. And if you're confident you're going to make more than they are, then like that's the right spot to be. So a little different for invitationals.
Gotcha. So you guys are coming in Wednesday to the Invitational, right?
Correct. Yeah, we're gonna haul up in a suite, get some testing in for a day or two. It's tough because like split formats are always tough to test for because like two's a lot. I mean, we had 3 at the Players Championship, which was like a nightmare basically.
You just basically phone one in.
Yeah, you just
like
gotta.
you can't
you
actually
gotta,
test for all 3 of them.
You got to give up on one. Honestly, I almost gave up on both of them. I just focused on Standard because it was the elimination rounds. But so you often, even in a split format, end up like, all right, I really like Jessica Nahiri. I think the deck's really good. I'm just gonna lock it in for now as my Modern deck. I'll play some games, tweak the sideboard, and then work really hard on Standard, or vice versa. And we're gonna try and do both if possible. Kind of like work the kinks out in both. Also, Modern, like we all kind of have decks we just really like. Like Andrew's just very good with Infect. He has 2 finals this year, right? 2 finals, and like it's just a great deck. He plays very well. And like Legacy and Modern are formats that really reward you for knowing your deck really well inside and out.
Sure, absolutely.
So like there's definitely less finagling in those formats. Like I think Jessica Nahiri is great. I think I really enjoy playing it, and like you gotta give me a pretty good reason not to play it. But if there's some cool new deck, who knows?
Delver of Secrets? Thought
The
Scour?
daddy loved Delver of Secrets. That is true.
That's my jam. Grixis Delver, that's my thing.
I'm not a big Delver of Secrets fan, but
It's a deck like Delver is another deck that is a reasonable like. So whenever this comes up in previous conversation, the deck that I usually mention when I talk about invitational deck selection is Scapeshift. I think that's a deck that people pick for invitationals or should pick more for invitationals because it's good against Jund, it's good against the fair blue decks, and it's good against like Abzan Company. And like those are what the good people play.
sure.
So like if you can figure out how to beat Infect with Scapeshift, like you're golden. You probably can't because that matchup is just terrible. But the theory holds true that it's good against like the skewing when like Legacy. What is a Legacy NV skews towards like what? Miracles, Deathblade,
Brainstorm.
Yeah,
The card
exactly.
Although, I mean, D&T's been taking some top slots lately.
Yeah, D&T is
Yeah,
like the
a little bit. I feel like
D&T and lands are like the smart people's non-blue decks.
Yeah,
That's
for the
what,
most
like,
part, though,
yeah.
like the smart
Storm.
people want to play Brainstorm.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
Brainstorm
Storm is
all
a
day.
Brainstorm deck too, but Storm is just a different.
Yeah, I mean, typically, like, Storm offers you a little bit less control of your games because you're kind of like, there's times where you're just kind of all in, or you die to a hate card, whereas the blue decks are just like, always in the game. Like a Delver deck is almost never just like
Totally
gonna
out of
get
it.
wrecked.
No, it's like
You know?
51% or 49%
Right.
against every matchup.
Right, and like that's a nice thing to have in a big tournament like an Invitational, where you can take a few losses too. That's the thing about Invitational deck selection, where like you can top 8 with like 4 losses, you know, 3 or 4 losses. So you know that like you play a deck that has a bad matchup or 2, but it's still very good against everything else. You can kind of do that. But in like, I mean, 2-day opens are like that now too. But like in the old open format, when it was a 1-day tournament with 9 rounds, you can only lose once.
Yeah.
You know, like
Sure.
I'd be terrified to play Goblins because like if I play against Storm twice,
Right, you're
I'm probably
just
dead.
dead.
But at an Invitational, Goblins was a great deck because, like Kevin said, the better players in the room tend to bring the blue decks, which Goblins is very good
Goblins is
against.
an awesome invitational
Yeah.
deck, actually.
And then if you lose the Storm twice, sure, that's fine. You can
did
do
your
that.
due diligence. Like you tried, you
Right.
made an informed decision,
Right.
and like you can't get around everything. Like you're not always
Well, the
going
thing
to
is,
hit.
but you can still top 8.
Yeah,
if you lost twice.
You can lose the Storm twice and still win the tournament.
Right, so you can-
and like that was the nightmare scenario. It's like you metagamed it all out, and like you're like, oh
You just
man,
drew
I'm
your
playing
bad matchups.
I'm playing against Storm twice, and like that's the deck I'm supposed to dodge. But like the worst thing can happen, and you're still okay
Right.
because it affords you like the luxury of picking up multiple losses and still doing well. That's why something like Jerry T at Invitational just plays like Shardless Bug every time. And they're like, Jerry T, what are you gonna do if your opponent's playing like Sneak and Show or Storm? And he's like, I'll just lose and beat everybody else. Well, okay,
Sure.
whatever, you know.
Fair enough.
But I think that's why decks like Escape Shift deck or like just another deck that's really good against Jund. It's like, how many times are you going to play against Boggles and Infect in the 8 rounds of Modern that you
Right.
play? You know, if you play 6 of your 8 rounds against linear aggressive decks, either you misevaluated the metagame or you just ran really bad. And those are things that you can remedy for the next time. But it's all about like
Right, and then that happens sometimes.
Performance,
I know the Invitational a while ago. Me and Andrew played a red-green Devotion deck. That was
Yep.
like very, very good against the card Siege Rhino. Like Abzan aggro, Abzan control. It was just a very, very good matchup for the red in the green Devotion deck.
you play against Esper Dragons every time.
Exactly. I played 8 rounds. I played against Siege Rhinos 0 times.
Yep.
Like that happens.
Against
You know,
Manus
like
Rider,
Right.
Valorous Stance, and
right, and
Esper
like
Dragons.
I beat some bad matchups, but I ended up going like 5-3 or something.
Sure.
And like that happens. You know, you take your shots, and like sometimes the pendulum swings, and you just don't play against Siege Rhino and play against Heroic 4 times. You know.
So how much of going into an event, we'll say an invitational because that's what we're talking
Sure.
about. How much of going into an invitational, if your percentage to win out of 100%, how much of it is the deck selection, and then how much of it is just left to
It's
your
very
skill?
format dependent.
Okay.
Like some formats are just
So-
like all the decks are reasonable. There's no sort of like rock paper scissors thing going on, and like kind of whatever. Some formats are very rock paper scissory. You know, like in that format, we thought Abzan was extremely overrepresented,
Sure.
and that this Devotion deck would smash the Abzan decks and still has game against other decks as well.
Right.
But there's times where like it isn't new that's stark,
Right.
and you just want to play a consistent deck and kind of like do well. I mean, a lot of it's on play, honestly. I mean, honestly, most viable decks like there's usually like. I mean, standard like 6 or 7 viable decks, and like in older formats, many, many more. If you're just playing them very well,
Right.
like Kevin, like I don't think the Delver deck is that good, but it's definitely good enough to win. And if you're playing it very, very well,
Right.
you'll win with it.
It's just like tried and true Magic cards. Like Tasigur on turn 2 is good. Like in a vacuum, in a hostile format, like it's just good.
Right, as
It's
long as
not
your
like
deck is
every
doing-
single person has 4 Path Exiles in
Sure.
their deck. It's
as long
just
as your
good.
deck's doing reasonable things, and as long as you're playing very, very well, you're usually in good shape.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know?
that's the thing. As like your curve accelerates, you're more and more like likely to just like put stock in your play skill and be part of the pack. Like you'll throw yourself into the scrum of interacting. Like as your curve up the invitation, like you get better and better and better and more confident. Like your preparation gets better. You're like, oh, I'm okay with playing Jund in an invitational because if I play 3 or 4 Jund mirrors, I know what I'm doing. You know.
Yes.
Whereas, like, when you're playing in your first or second invitational, you're way more likely to try to, like, level everybody and play Boggles or
Definitely.
whatever. And, like, the best people are the ones who can, like, jump either direction. And, like, you don't see that. Like, what did you do the one time? You played this stupid, like, Eldrazi Taxis deck.
Oh, that was at
In Columbus.
yeah, that was Milwaukee, I think.
Oh, Milwaukee you played in the Open, but you
it was
played
Columbus.
in the Indy, too.
That's right.
Yeah. And I just played, like, the most boring Grixis deck possible.
Right.
And like lost to the 2 things that Grixis can never ever win, which is like Reliquary Retreat Company deck, like Eli Cassis, and the other thing I lost to was like Noble Hierarch into Geist of St. Treft into Siege Rhino into Tribal Flames. And I'm like, yeah, I'm never ever winning this matchup.
Sure.
But like I played against Abzan, played against Jund, and like won the interactive stuff, Infect, whatever. But like there's a difference between that and like trying to get everybody.
Definitely. I mean, it's always risk reward too, though, because like you find that right deck, you can just kind of steamroll through it. Like at the Players Championship, I played the ramp deck that I thought would be good against Jeskai, and I played against Jeskai a few times. Jeskai was definitely the best deck, like by far, and I just played against it over and over and over again. And that worked. And I mean, like occasionally, I'll get paired against Jacob Wilson playing Landfall, die on turn 4 both games, and I'm out of a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But like. That happens sometimes.
Sure.
You're playing your odds. And you're understanding that the portion of the field is this. You can do that, and then there's times where you just kind of play with the true deck, like your blue deck. You just play it, and you kind of just try and outplay people and just do that as well. It's
you played Shardless Bug the Bug Delver in the Players Championship.
Right.
Like you played like the level 0 like tricky deck in Standard, and by tricky deck I mean like you played the deck that no one expected you to play.
Right. Yeah. It was
like ramp. And then you played like Tron in Modern, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah, it was just similar. Yeah.
And then you just played like the most average Legacy deck possible,
Right.
like your Legacy deck that you play in every single tournament.
Right.
Which like makes sense. You can't go like nuts in all of them. Like, what are you going to do? Play like Welder Mud or something?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Legacy was a phone in for sure. It was just like I can't adequately prepare for 3 formats, so I'm playing Sultai Delver. It's the deck I know.
Well, I mean, it's actually funny, Jim. I don't know if you remember this, but. When you were getting ready for the Players Championship, you were looking for people to play with online. So I logged on, and you and I jammed a couple of matches, and it was, I don't know, it was a week before or something. And I remember you played pretty much the deck you played at the championship. It still had some differences, and I was playing Jeskai Black. You needed somebody to play Jeskai Black against. And I remember you it's like turn 1, Forest. I'm like, what? It's like
what's going on?
Explosive Vegetation. I'm like, I remember typing in, is this you, Jim?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, is if you can do that where you juke the right way at the right time, like Magic becomes really, really easy.
It's like my Legacy Merfolk deck. That's what I played in the Players Championship in Legacy. Merfolk.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah. That's the thing, though. It's like in a tournament like that where it's like so small,
right.
Metagaming is much more prevalent.
Right.
Like
because I know like Joe Set's probably playing Miracles, and I mean we thought the Roanoke guys would do one thing. They all played Death and Taxes Legacy, which surprised us. But
they would do Infect, honestly.
Yeah, but
which
and like
good choice.
But with a small field, you really are metagaming because like I'm probably gonna play against Kevin. He's one of 16 people, and I'm playing 8 rounds or whatever.
Sure.
So that's definitely very different than like a bigger tournament like Invitational, where it's just a wider field, and you might play against Frankie, who won his local IQ and wants to play Burn because he wants to. That might
burning
happen.
you alive.
Right. That might happen. So
Nothing.
Foil goblin guys and everything else is like whiteboarded mountains, just wrecking your life.
Nothing.
Whiteboarded mountains.
Nothing so tilting as losing to Goblin Guide and Lightning Bolt.
Yeah, I mean, I've been like 2-0 or 3-0 in like legacy portion of an Envy, and my opponent's just playing Burn, and I'm like, how did you get here? I mean, things are just like so scary.
Burn's fine in Modern,
Yeah, no, Burn is a deck in Modern.
Legacy Burn's the one that gets you with Price of Progress and stuff.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh no.
Oh, you're gonna try to do like real stuff?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh no.
I think I'm being summoned to the battlefield.
Uh-oh. And speaking,
you're still in the tournament, aren't you?
Yeah.
Probably go win that one.
Yeah. All right.
Get out of here.
Hey guys, it was fun.
Good luck,
as always. Maybe I'll come back after I get knocked out.
Speaking of oh no, I think Josh is back. I mean, speaking of great, Josh is back.
These are what we're featuring.
Okay, cool. You're welcome to stick around, Jim. I don't want to keep you from your girlfriend or the hot tub, though, so it's your call.
It's true. Hot tub is over there. We got a long ride home, too, so we're going to head out.
All right, man. Well, listen, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to drag you onto a podcast again, if that's okay.
I accept.
All right, fair enough.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Safe drive home.
Yes.
And good luck to you guys next week.
Oh, thank you very much.
Jimmy, you
All
going
right.
to Syracuse? You guys going to be here tomorrow, though? All right, sick. Cool. All right, well, drive safe. Thanks for that.
I'll be Jim Davis. You can be Robert Healy.
All right. There's a lot of terrible things I can say in this situation. We're not going to say that.
How about you just hand me my water? And
My opening line in the
Trade
situation when I'm not me is probably not acceptable for stream.
I don't know about that. All right, so we have the final 4 for you guys, by the way. So
Yeah, we got Oklahoma State, Notre Dame.
Okay.
And
How about my Buckeyes? Are my Buckeyes getting
I'm
in
just-
now? Okay. So we have Drew Brantner versus Josh Perlin, and then
Josh Stringer, actually.
or Josh Stringer. I
Yeah,
apologize.
multiple Joshes. Just
There are many.
floating around
Yeah, there are many
everywhere,
Joshes.
apparently.
So Drew Brantner versus Josh Stringer, and you guys remember Drew with his black, blue zombies deck. We brought him on here. He
No,
told us a
Brandner
little-
was actually on Grixis.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah,
God.
no, my buddy Connor was on
Connor.
the Zombies deck, and he
Zombies deck.
lost against Stringer.
Okay.
Just some mis-sideboarding because he wasn't assuming the multiple Grimflayer onslaught game too.
Ew.
So just had probably a rough game 3. Sad to see him go.
So Drew Stringer and Josh Perlin, and then we have Big Daddy.
Yes, Big Daddy Kevin Jones
Versus
and then
Matt
Tumovich. I decided not to bring those two on camera as much as we would like the Daddy on camera. The Bant Company Mare is probably not what we want to watch. I think Grixis Control versus Black Green Delirium is probably going to be a bit more appealing to the masses.
I think so. So Jim and I watched this Grixis control deck play last round. It was pretty cool, actually. Or 2 rounds ago. Really gave Bant Company a beating.
Yeah, no,
Really gave Bant
I
Company
watched
a beating.
him play actually against Black White Angel Control just this past round, and like
Okay.
they were naturally the guys that ended the last, but I guess Josh Stringer left, which is great because we didn't pick him for the feature match.
So does that mean that Kevin just gets the bye then?
I guess. Oh no, never mind. Left is in the direction. Gotcha. All right, Stringer's on camera. That's right. All right, Kevin's against Tumovich.
Right.
That's right.
So
that
Josh
would've been way
Stringer,
better if you
Drew
just left.
Brantner. If you guys on Twitch aren't confused, we certainly are. So you're way ahead of us. I mean,
But yeah, no, I'm excited to watch this. I didn't get to see it like you guys did, but I watched him just give Black White Angels the control of the business.
Really? So how did
Game
he?
1, like really terribly, just kept throwing land after land after land with a ruinous path in his hand, and like his opponent had like cast literally all 4 Read the Bones against him, and like that's great in the black green or black X mirror match.
Pretty much.
So the guy who cast more Read the Bones probably doing well, and his opponent had like Bruna, Gisela, 2 ruinous paths, a Grasp of Darkness, an extra land, and like it just all over the place. So he just like gave him the thrashing
Awesome.
game 2.
So here we are, Joshua Stringer, Drew Brantner. It looks like Joshua went first. He's playing Green Black Delirium.
I think Drew went first. We got 2 lands on the floor.
Oh, I didn't see the one over there.
Yep.
Green Black Delirium, and Drew obviously playing his Grixis Control. So
Yeah.
Josh getting the first creature out there with Grimflayer.
Oh, Mom and Pop Chandra. That's
Yeah.
what I like to see.
So we haven't seen Green Black at all on the stream today. So this
Yeah.
is kind of nice to see it in the top 8.
No, I'm pretty excited. I watched. This is what my buddy Connor Bryant lost to. The deck's very strong. It has really good aggressive draws. It has really good, mid-range draws. So it can switch back and forth between those really well. And the turn 2 Grimflayer is just exactly where you want to be, where your opponent's not going to interact with your creature.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. So Joshua's laying his hand out. He's getting transgressed right now. And looks like he's going to take Nissa, which is fine. I mean, obviously that's the earlier play, and Drew has no shortage of removal. That's to
Yeah.
be certain.
I actually think Drew's a little short on removal currently, but I think his plan next turn is to throw down P and Kieran Nalar.
Seems like an okay plan. Block's fine. So we have an Oath of Nissa in play. Joshua looking for what he's going to take. He's going to take a Tireless Tracker, it looks like, put the other 2 on the
Tracker's
bottom.
fantastic in this matchup.
Well, yeah, it matches up with some card advantage, which, you're going to need against
Yeah.
this deck. This deck's going to try and... Because Drew, one would imagine, is going to try and wear Josh out. Although, interestingly enough, Green-Black Delirium does pretty good interacting with its own graveyard.
Yes.
Not as good as Black-Blue Zombies.
Absolutely not. We just get to do awesome things like casting them, where Black Blue Zombies just gets to do awesome things everywhere.
And, cheating them onto the board.
Yeah. I loved watching that. I actually just grabbed Connor's deck and I was solitarying it by myself. It was awesome.
Did you get
I loved
his
it.
list?
We have his list, don't
Okay,
we?
great. We have his list.
Yeah, it
we'll
should
look
just
at that
be
later.
right up
So-
here somewhere.
Josh fetching Evolving Wilds, getting a Swamp, and then passing to Drew. Drew playing P and Kieran Nalar, getting tokens out.
Key and
How-
Peel,
Right.
Mom and Pop Chandra.
How come there's no Kerwin's tokens there?
I don't know. The Thopters, I don't think were made in the most
okay.
recent run.
Gotcha.
I think we were doing other Thopters. We have them. But Drew probably providing his own tokens for this one and probably just letting it go.
That's fine. So passes the turn back to Josh. Now, Josh has got. Does Josh have Delirium? It's a little hard to see with that.
So he's got exactly 4 cards in graveyard, and I know the second to last card's a Swamp, and it's Swamp Evolving Wilds. So there's not likely that he's got Delirium.
So Drew is going to block with Pia and Kieran.
I think this is a fine block.
Really?
I like the tokens much better than I like Mom Pop Chandra.
Fair enough.
Plus, Brantner is 100% running Colgan's command.
You think? Well, Josh is gonna take care of the tokens while Brantner's tapped out. Trade with P and Kieran.
He grasped one of the tokens.
Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, probably to activate Delirium.
Aha! Tramples for 2 and gets the pseudo brainstorm.
Yep.
Looks at the top 3, keeps one on top, keeps as many as he wants on top. Actually,
Yeah, and
stacks
just
his draw.
Put all the rest in the graveyard.
You know, it's a shame counterbalance isn't legal in this format.
We could just do it. We'll just play Counterbalance Grimflayer.
We're not going there. Okay. Well, that was a fairly savvy play by Stringer.
Yeah. I do like the single block by Brantner as well, simply because if your opponent wastes a premium removal spell on one of your tokens,
so
you can just answer back with a premium removal spell.
That's going to be Poor Man Hero's downfall to Ruinous Path. And Brantner's going to get in there for 1 with the token, sending Stringer to 19.
Yeah, Stringer really doesn't have all that much to his board now that he's gotten Ruinous Path, and Brantner, doesn't care about the P and Kieran and all are going away.
Nope.
Doesn't care that one of the tokens is going away. This is actually fantastic.
Yeah, so Stringer will drop. He'll get a clue token. Won't be able to crack it with that Evolving Wilds out.
No, but we can just get another one off of the Evolving Wilds, so it's similar to playing Evolving Wilds for turn.
Sure. Untap. So there is an ultimate price in Brantner's hand. It looks like he's got a Radiant Flames.
As well.
Looks like he's got 1 or 2 Goblin Dark Dwellers in his hand, and maybe another Ruinous Path, I want to say.
Yeah, it's another Ruinous Path.
So he has a pretty stacked hand in that regard, although can't cast his Dark Dwellers, but got plenty of removal to buy himself the time he needs to get that other land drop.
Yeah, so Drew's just going to pass turn here. His opponent's going to fetch the Evolving Wilds, and Drew's going to respond with an ultimate price on the tracker. And so to prevent the other clue token, which, ladies and gentlemen, is why we always slam the Evolving Wilds and fetch it when we have the open opportunities.
Absolutely.
Because we don't want to ever give our opponents the opportunity to interact with the fact that we're going to get another clue token.
So there we go. Stringer getting his land. Brandner's still got 2 more up. Of course,
Yeah, we can't do
anything
too
with
much.
that.
All the cards in our hand cost too much. Brandner's wants a land here. Any land off the top would be fantastic.
So there's a Mind Rack Demon.
Yeah.
Actually, really not that big of a deal. I mean, Brandner's just untapping 1 for it again, which is what you want to continue to do here. What really I think is gonna mess Brantner up is he's gonna use that Ruinous Path probably.
Ooh.
There's a land drop.
Is that a?
Yeah, it's a tap land.
Yeah. It's either. It might be a Smoldering Marsh.
No,
I
it's
think
not.
it's the reveal land.
It's the show land. But what I was saying is what could screw Brantner's game plan up here is he's already spent 2 Ruinous Paths. Maybe he's playing 3, maybe 4. But if a Liliana hits the board here, that's going to be
we're playing
it's going to be a problem. So we are playing 3 Ruinous Paths.
Yeah.
So he's got 1 left in the deck. Now he does have Dark Dwellers to get them back.
And that would have been best case scenario, actually, is just to slam the Dark Dwellers right there and then flashback the ultimate price. That's the best case scenario. Because then we can hold our Ruinous Paths for actual Planeswalkers or to awaken and start attacking for real damage.
Although with Stringer now, with 2 cards in hand, attacking with his Hissing Quagmires, he's got to be getting a little winded as far as being able to bring threats into Brantner. And this is where Brantner's deck now just kind of wants to turn the corner.
Absolutely.
So he's going to do that. He's going to get back Transgress. Seems fine.
Transgress is a fine toss down here.
So he's just going to... Stringer's just going to get rid of those guys now.
Lose a murder.
He's going to get a murder. Keep...
Slight earthquake over here, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
We're all fine here, though.
Yeah.
And he is left with 1 Grasp of Darkness, which against a control deck, not the greatest thing to be left with.
Yeah. I mean, at best, you're going to hit the second Dark Dwellers. But I think what Drew wants to do is hold up some of the cards in it. So he's got the Galvanic Bombardment in his hand.
Yeah, he does. He plays a bunch of those.
He plays 4 of those.
Yep.
And I like holding that card open versus the guy who's trying to activate Hissing Quagmire and attack me for 2.
Uh-huh.
So to just blow out one of the lands is fantastic.
That token's been doing some work. 4 points of damage.
Absolutely. I think you would be the foremost expert in how Thopter tokens win games.
Thopter tokens are great. They are, in fact, a win condition.
Yeah, they draw you cards. They attack for 1.
I mean, if you've got trading post out, they do all sorts of fun things.
Oh, they probably are fantastic.
It's
Trading
great.
post.
Yeah, that's right. I'm playing an EDH card in Modern, so what? All right, so going to attack in with the token again.
I think we just pass at this point because we have no true value out of the Dark Dwellers.
No. And what did Stringer play over there? I can't see it in the glare.
I think he just attacked
What's that over there
with
in the
his
battlefield?
Shambling Vent or his Hissing Quagmire.
Yeah, but he's got something over there in
He
the
does.
battlefield.
I don't know what it
That
is.
Okay.
I can't really see the glare has gotten.
Got a little rough.
Yeah.
Okay. Stringer tapping down 3 swamps.
No, I think he's gonna
swamp.
forest in
Okay,
there.
so he's activating both. I'm
Do
sorry.
double activate.
All right,
We're gonna get blasted.
we are. So that's going to take care of 1. Now, does Brantner have another one? No, he's just going to take 2 and go down to 10. But you're okay with this. This is
Yeah.
kind of chipping you down slowly. One of Stringer's cards is removal, which is fairly blank against you. I mean, you've got
Yeah.
Dark Dwellers, but
The issue is we can't cast the Dark Dwellers to get the
value.
land off the table.
Yep.
So we're just gonna keep taking 2 from this land unless we put the Dark Dwellers on the table for no good reason.
So
whatsoever.
2 Radiant Flames and looks like another Galvanic Bombardment. in
Nah,
his
it's
hand?
the Dark Dwellers.
There's the Dark Dwellers, yeah.
Yeah. No, if it was the bombardment, we would have just slammed it on the table.
Traverse the Uvenwald. So
Traverse the
this
Uvenwald's pretty good.
This sort of went from anyone's game to very possibly Josh's game. I
Yeah.
mean, if he's playing Emrakul in there,
6 man on the floor.
yeah. Even Ishkana would probably be okay here.
Yeah, Ishkana would be fine. I don't know what other threats we can
Well,
really bring out.
So he's searching his.
He does have
graveyard.
an Emerald. Oh, he's got a Woodland Bellower in his deck too.
The problem there is if Josh thinks that he's playing against a Radiant Flames, Woodland Barrower, not the greatest thing. I mean, you get a big
Yeah.
chunky body,
Yep.
but you don't get any.
Well, Woodland Bellower also brings either a Tireless Tracker, Sylvan Advocate,
Right.
Grim Flayer, or
Okay, so
that's
he's
it,
going to
to
go
the
get the
battlefield.
Woodland Bellower.
Yep, Woodland
play.
Bellower is going to enter the battlefield, find a non-legendary creature with converted mana cost 3 or less, and put it onto the battlefield.
Seems like a fine card, particularly in this matchup.
Yeah. I don't really like the Sylvan Advocate here.
No?
No, not a huge fan. It's just a 4/5. Tireless Tracker probably would have been much better, but I guess it depends on how many lands we have in our hand
Well, I would
to play.
I would imagine you want to get something that blanks any removal you think Brantner's sitting on.
Sylvan Advocate doesn't blank all that much removal, right?
Well-
So we don't have instant speed removal that can interact with Hissing Quagmire. So at best, what we're thinking is we're not playing around
Okay, so
Galvanic
there
Bombardment.
we go.
We're
So
playing
there's-
around maybe Ultimate Price, but not Grasp, right? We use the Grasp if
Sure.
we had it.
So that's a 2 for 2 there. And he's going to play another Oath of Nissa and bin the other one.
Yeah, that's what the
Stringer.
ridiculous permanent
There's
on the floor was.
Ishkana. I almost wonder if you just don't beat down with lands now rather than play Ishkana. I mean, you beat down with lands, you're not giving him a target for anything.
Yep. Now we have a really good Goblin Dark Dwellers.
We have a great Dark Dweller target. I mean,
Yeah, we can put the Dark Dwellers on the floor, throw the Ultimate Price at the Ishkana.
so he's still got the Grasp.
Yep.
So you got 3 tokens.
Oh, that's a Chandra in hand?
Hmm.
Okay, that'll win a game.
So got to take care of Ishkana first. Right. Okay. Dark Dweller's coming down. Probably not going to live to see an untap phase, that's for sure.
Nope. Ultimate. We have the Grasp in hand.
Yep.
On Josh's side, Josh is definitely gonna grasp this.
And what else?
I'm assuming fire up the Quagmire and attack.
I don't know what else he's got in his hand, but he's tapping 3.
That's a
this is
Tireless
Tracker.
Tracker.
Yeah, so he's got Tireless Tracker and a land, so he's going to Tireless Tracker play the land,
Tireless Tracker to play the land.
which is fine. Then
We
he's going to
can't-
grasp.
Yeah, we can't grasp and activate the land anymore.
No, but I mean he'll attack in for 3 and be able to draw at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
Although,
this is just much
unfortunately,
better for Chandra.
However. Unfortunately, looks like Chandra may get there. Yep.
Yeah, this is just a
There she
perfect
is.
Chandra turn right here.
So we're just gonna blast through everything.
Yeah,
minus her down to
minus
1.
3, which is exactly what we want to do. Because we could sack the token on Josh's side and make our tile tracker a 4-3.
Yep.
And dodge a -2 out of Chandra.
So Josh draws. Don't know what he drew, but let's hope it's good.
Chandra's actually not living either.
No,
We should attack
no.
it with the land, unless,
You're gonna attack Chandra. Oh,
he didn't draw it, unluckily for him. But if he had a Galvanic Bombardment, it would have been fantastic.
Liliana and minus her down, I would imagine. Yep.
Absolutely.
Gonna go get some
We have
value
Way
out
too
of
many
that.
good cards in the graveyard to not do that.
So what do you pull out of here? I mean, you can't cast it.
I like the Woodland Bellower, I think. It's a 2
Oh,
for
you
1.
dropped the
So,
2.
like, Drew has to draw, like, a Wrath effect, but, like, the Languish doesn't kill Woodland Bellower.
What about another Ishkana, though?
Ishkana's fine, but I don't know how good the 1/2s are. Like, the 1/2s get swept up by Radiant Flames, and then you just have a 3/5,
Sure.
right? But the 3/5 is fine. See, Sylvan Advocate, I think, is terrible.
He just drew that?
Yeah, he took it with the Liliana minus.
Oh.
I don't think...
Can't even cast it.
Yeah, he can't cast it. Like, if it was a card I could cast this turn,
Right.
fine.
Yeah,
I'll take that,
absolutely,
right? But,
absolutely.
like, at this point, like, maybe he's just trying to dodge a possible Transgress the Mind. Maybe. Sure.
Fair enough.
But, like, the Woodland Bellower is just better because we can go Woodland Bellower, get a Sylvan Advocate, and then just have both of them.
Well, Kalidas is going to come down, and he's going to have something to say about Sylvan Advocate.
Yeah. No, Kalidas is fine. It's still a little underpowered compared to the 4/5 with Vigilance, but, like, if Drew draws any removal spell, like, we're in great
And
shape.
he's going to draw a removal
Is that
spell,
an
and as long as
Oath?
it's...
I think we just drew an Oath of Nissa.
Okay. And if Drew draws a removal spell, and it's any 2-drop removal spell... Oh, Jesus.
So, I heard Ponder was good. Is Ponder
I
good?
heard it's pretty freaking amazing.
7 mana, so he just has 6 different permanents in his graveyard.
I'm sure he does at this point.
Enchantment land, creature, instant.
Yeah, okay. Drew's just going to scoop it up. We're going to go to game 2.
Yeah. That was tough. Drew fought very well.
Yep.
He had some tough times trying to wade through all of the things that Josh was presenting. But I'm thinking we get a little bit better post board. We get another copy of Dragonlord Silumgar, which is probably fantastic. Ob Nixilis seems great. Painful Truce is probably fine in this matchup.
Yep.
Peck the Brain's probably great in this matchup.
It's excellent in this matchup. On Drew, on deck designer, apparently the deck designer is none only than the Republican nominee for president, Donald Trump,
Yeah.
for
Apparently.
Green Black Delirium.
Apparently, this is the way we make America great again.
Apparently. Moving on. So if you're on Josh's side, we're gonna want to grab. Let's see, maybe Infinite. Well, no. Yeah.
No.
Well.
We probably want To the Slaughter's probably fine
Yeah.
in this matchup. Ever After's probably insane in this matchup.
Yep. Ob Nixilis maybe.
The discard spells are great, and Ob Nixilis is great in this
Yeah.
matchup
Yeah.
because you want the discard spells to clear the way to get rid of the Dragonlord Silumgars that we probably know are there, to get rid of the Goblin Dark Dwellers
Right.
and their targets.
Right.
We don't really want them to have fantastic flashback targets, so if we can eliminate some of those, I mean, it's great, right? Ishkana's fine. Like, she dodges like Grasp and Burn Spell Removal and Chandra minus, mostly. And the 5/10 is fantastic. It doesn't match up well against Dragonlord Silumgar,
No.
but not many cards in a pretty traditional creature deck do, but the removal spells do, of course.
Sure.
Ob Nixilis actually matches up very poorly against Dragonlord Silumgar.
And the problem for Drew on this end is that this Green Black Delirium deck, it's just got inevitability in Emrakul. So
Yes.
you got to find a way to deal with that if
Yeah,
the game's going to go long.
you have to start turning the corner a little bit faster than you probably normally would. You have to actually win the game within a reasonable amount of time because Emrakul is going to come off the top of the library and win the game, or get traversed Uvenwald and then onto the floor.
So is he playing? Let's see here. Drew doesn't look to be playing any Dark Petitions in his deck, I don't think. I was going to say, if he was, you could bring in your Infinite Obliteration and hope to hit it,
Yeah.
and take care of Emrakul that way.
Yeah, I think we're probably boarding in the Infinite Obliteration this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Colligan's Command probably coming in just to help recur.
Yeah. No, Colgan's Command's fine. I don't know how good it is against a deck like this because it's not
Well, the discard, bring a creature back.
Yeah.
Just get your Dark Dweller back, and
Yeah,
let
it
you kinda
helps
grind out
against
more.
the inevitable top decks, and that's what I kind of love about Colgan's Command.
Maybe no. Emrakul has a immunity to instance, so Spell Shrivel not going to do it here.
No, Spell Shrivel will be fine. So like immunity instance won't.
Right. Yeah. It's after it comes down.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
it
spells,
won't work
what am I
against
saying?
counter spells because
Yeah.
you're not actually targeting the creature; you're
Right.
targeting the spell on the stack.
Correct. It's been a long day, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, no, you went ham sandwich right through the last like 3 rounds with Jim Davis and Kevin the Daddy Jones, so I can
I
understand.
didn't have to do a lot of talking once Kevin got here, so it was
No
fun.
one ever does.
Yeah, it was good.
Trust me, I was on the weekly ward.
Should have kind of did my job for me for like
Yeah, I
40
could just
minutes.
be a cardboard cutout every time.
So both players looking like they're mulling to 6 here.
Yeah, mulligans are tough in decks like these
Yeah.
because, especially I think more so in Drew's
Oh no,
deck,
okay, no,
because-
no. We are going
Just
to
going to
7.
7.
Okay, I thought we had shuffled up. Sometimes it's tough to
Yeah,
see when
okay.
you cut back. I think I saw
Drew's
Chandra
hand
in
looks
there.
real top heavy.
Yeah, way too top heavy.
Yeah, it was like Chandra, Dragonlord, Silumgar, random 5 and 6 drop, and like nothing else.
It's a shame. It's all the haymakers you want. but
Yeah, you
gotta be able
definitely
to get
want
there.
those cards, but like you don't want them really in the opener. Like you want to like tear the Dragonlord off the top and like give your opponent the extra salt, of course.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's ulted. He's got Obnixilis at 8 counters. You just rip Dragonlord, Silumgar.
What you really want to do is you want to look at the top card and then just flip it over and show your opponent and cast it right from the top.
Yeah.
Just to show them that you actually did, in fact, just top that
Right.
card to win the game.
Was it? People were talking about how Brad Nelson would intentionally play a Wall of Omens prior to playing a Wrath to entice his opponent into thinking he drew it off of it, and while holding another Wrath in his hand.
Oh, man.
So Magic is so much more of a mind game than you can
No,
really
emotion
believe it.
doesn't play into this at all. Stop. What are you, crazy?
Yeah, most of the time.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you are spending your weekend sitting here with me. I mean,
True. Yeah, watching Standard. Luckily, however, not beating our head against the wall watching the Bank Company mirror over and over again.
We got away with only one, and our Queller and Company count we stopped keeping track of because
You
just
just
lower.
didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
lower than we ever thought it would be. I'm okay with that.
Fantastic.
All right,
It
so
looked like 0 lands in Drew's hand.
that's
This is
bad.
not boding well for
Yeah,
him. If,
this is not where Drew wants to be.
Yeah, if Josh boarded in any of his discard spells, then
Yeah.
it's just not going to go well. Like Drew's going to be on the play, going to go immediately to 4 cards, and if Josh has any discard, like we're just at 3 cards in hand and probably just can't win the game that way.
Very tough. No, Josh is being very nice, showing us his opening hand there.
Yeah, a little abrupt and quick, but
Yeah,
appreciated
couldn't get all-
nonetheless.
It's nice when they take us into account back here in
Yeah.
the dungeon.
No, I tried to do that when I was when every time I get on the camera for these guys, like just pull my hand.
Yeah,
up to the
tip your
screen,
hand out a
like,
little more and
or like just bring up a card. Like, is this good?
call my shot.
Yeah.
All right, down to 5. Is this 5 cards for Brantner? 2 lands, Dark
That's a
Dweller.
snap keepable 5 right there.
Yeah, it is.
It's Dark Dweller Transgress the Mind, I think.
I believe it is. So, I mean, on the play, you could work your way out of this.
Yeah. Although Josh has his deck hovering above the card, like he's not going to put it on the bottom, no matter what Drew does. I actually would I think doing that and then be like, I'm going to top that card, and just like putting it back on top would be way better. All right. Just Swamp Transgress.
Yep, we're going right for the hand. Let's get
Yep.
some information, see what we can pull out.
That's a decent place to be. Got a ruin.
Wow, actually,
So it's just traverse lands and
a transgress on his end,
Yeah,
so
that's
that's
bad.
not great for Brantner, but all lands. So
yeah,
if
no,
he whiffs-
it's like so he takes the Dark Dwellers that you know you're gonna have in hand, and we just basically get to play the Jund match rope. Like, all right, who's gonna top deck better at this point? Because you just tear each other's hands apart, blow up all the creatures. Like, all right, I draw nothing, you go. You're drawing nothing, I go. That's basically where we're at this point. Like, neither player's gonna do anything really.
I mean, the traverse, fine if he can hold it long enough. You
Yeah,
need to get
if
a
we
win
can get
condition.
to the point where Traverse is going to do something, then that's fantastic. If not, then like,
Well, leaves Brantner with 2 lands. Brantner's going to need a top deck here.
yeah. Not only do we need a top deck, we also need a blue source. So like, we're at the point where like
All right.
we need a land, but we don't want more lands.
Galvanic Bombardment, not the worst thing in the world. Stops some Grim Flares.
Yeah, stops the Grim Flare. It stops
Does not
the
stop Liliana.
Hissing Quagmire.
Yep.
If Josh starts to go in on the Hissing Quagmire.
So Josh plussing here, not sure
I don't
why.
like that. I don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Infinite Obliteration off the top is fantastic.
Stringer pointing something.
He's going to -2/-1 the mountain, probably.
Oh, okay. That's fine. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I would do.
Mountain's pointless in combat now.
Yeah. It's easily the most relevant creature on the floor at this
All right,
point.
there we go.
That's insane.
Tireless Tracker.
Yeah, I don't
Plus
think there's
0.
any need to respond.
So Stringer fetching. Okay, so
Got
there we
him.
go. Got him.
Again, with
This is
the,
why you. I mean,
yeah.
you can hold priority and just
Yeah.
crack it right there, right?
I'm not entirely sure about that, but I think what Josh needed to do at this point is because he's staring down all open mana is to play more carefully around the Tireless Tracker. When your opponent's tapped out, snap, sacrifice the Evolving Wilds, right? We just want both of the clues. We don't want to give our opponent any chance to respond to either of that, right? But when our opponent has all open mana, I'm fine with doing it at the end of turn because if he's got it, he's got to waste mana my way,
So
right?
now minusing, getting back Tireless Tracker,
Which is probably pretty good.
playing Tireless Tracker, except here's the thing: getting another clue token, and now Brandner can Galvanic Bombardment for 3,
Yeah.
so he can
If
take
he
care of
has
that.
the bombardment. I don't know
He's
what
got
his
it.
hand can... It does? Okay.
It looks
so
like
he tore
he's
one
got-
off the top
Yeah,
then.
so he's got that and Infinite Obliteration.
Good.
And I think you just do it right now
Yeah.
before he
There's
gets
no
a
point
chance
not to.
Very tough.
I
for
just feel
Brandner.
bad about casting Infinite Obliteration, not knowing what's in Josh's hand,
Yep.
because you really don't want to cast a card that's not affecting your opponent's hand or board state. And that's kind of what Infinite
Draw for
Obliteration's
Brandner.
doing.
Oh, okay, we have a Planeswalker. Of course, no blue source, so not casting Jace.
Yeah.
So just going to Infinite Obliteration and take a flyer here.
Do we take Tireless Tracker?
I don't know. I mean, so
Yeah, he's going Tireless Tracker.
okay.
I'm fine with that because we have the Liliana, and it's eventually going to like recur the Tireless Tracker.
Sure.
And like he's got a Woodland Bellower in hand right now, and like it's not going to get another Tireless Tracker, which is a fantastic line because if you go like Bellower Tracker, play a land, get a third clue, like you have 2 creatures on the floor, a Planeswalker, and you're going to be able to draw 3 cards off your clues.
Problem here is Brandner's down to 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
Stringer is 1 card away, I think, 1 land drop away from playing that Bellower.
Yeah, and he's got a clue he's going to sacrifice. So he's got 2 draw steps.
Yep. I mean, it's rough. And his 1 card is totally uncastable in Brandner's hand and does not affect the board when it hits.
Yeah.
Certainly could flip if he can get there, but
Yeah,
you got to get there.
Yeah, if we can get the flip going before Josh really starts taking this game over, fantastic. You know what I mean? Like we're in a great, great position at that point.
Doesn't have to worry about Liliana hitting the ultimate because, all right, so Ob Nixilis, that is
So we hit the
bad.
land drop too, which
Yeah, I
is
mean, you're just going to play Bellower here,
Yeah.
and you're going to force Brandner to have to deal with 2 now. 2
Yeah.
cards
gonna get the Advocate again.
with 1 card in hand. Now, they're both at 20. It's not like Brandner's just dead tomorrow. But
Yeah.
This is going to be bad very quickly.
I mean, like that's 10 damage per swing.
And Brandner just scooping it up.
So it's actually 14 damage swing
Yep.
because you fire up the Hissing Quagmire and it's a
Yeah,
4/4.
yeah.
So it's actually just 14 damage. So Brew is actually dead in 2 turns. And like he drew for that turn and it was a Galvanic Bombardment, which does 4 damage, which is only enough to kill the land. But it's still 2-turn clock, right? You're still dead in 2 turns because it's 10 damage, 10 damage.
Sure. Heartbreaking loss for Brandner there,
Yeah,
having to mull
it's-
down to 5.
That's not
really
the way
rough.
I'd want to go out
No.
for sure.
Nah.
Like he tried, it was a valiant effort.
Oh, he
but,
went
like,
out swinging. No doubt about
like,
that.
with all that he could, right?
So do we have another match that we can switch to?
Daddy is playing right now in the Bant Company Mirror, and I don't know how that's going.
Well, I would imagine that it's Daddy.
Okay. We're just getting some messages from Scott the Master, and
Scott working through some technical difficulty and doing it quite well. A couple of
apparently I'm magic. You know, I leave, everything breaks, I come back, everything starts working again. I don't know.
Well,
That's actually how my work goes too.
Really?
I just kind of show up and things start working again.
oh, okay.
Yeah, go back to my desk. People will eventually call me back. Walk back down. Basically how my job goes.
Humble too, which is good.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that I'm, magical or anything. I'm just saying it's just kind of how it works. Like
Okay, so we're gonna have Green Black Delirium
In the finals.
In the finals. So
versus Band Company.
maybe
I don't know who was definitely.
or Green White Tokens.
No, Green White Tokens is gone.
Or no, Green White Tokens. So
Yeah,
it's,
no, it's the company mirror right now.
oh, is it okay? So it's definitely gonna be Company versus Green Black. Man, can you imagine the gnashing of teeth if Company takes it? How angry Twitch is gonna be.
I don't know if I spelled that correctly at all.
So Kevin is playing Matt Tukovic. I believe. Tumovich, yes. Sorry, we're just getting the stream set up for you guys because we are going to go see Kevin playing Matt Tumovich into Game 3. We just want to make sure we get Matt's last name spelled correctly.
Yeah, I can butcher it verbally, but I would rather not do it like writing it.
No.
And this is the thing you were looking for.
Oh, I have in my hand the deck list for my next F&M deck, guys. Blue-Black Zombies.
Dex gas.
That
Absolute gas.
seems sweet.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to figure out the sideboard to deal with Emrakul's, but I think we can do that.
Yeah,
We
we
can work
chatted
on that.
about that a little bit. I
Yeah,
think
we
we're
can
doing
get
all right. I think biggest thing right now is Liliana. She's expansive.
If I had an extra playset, I'd mail it to you and let you borrow it.
Dude, I would be all right with that. I don't. What is her? The Last Hope.
Yeah, the Last Hope.
Really?
And if you want to own her, that is in fact the Last Hope.
Oh, that looks real. Wow.
Oh wow, is this this is the dual deck Lillian? We're just looking at the dual
No,
deck
that's-
artwork.
That's SDCC 2 2016.
Wait, excuse me?
Yeah, San Diego Comic Con 2016 Planeswalkers.
Wow, had a Liliana special Planeswalker. Wonder if
No,
we
I think
can-
all of them have one.
Okay.
Yeah, Jace's. The difference is, however, so it's Jace.
It's all the gate. It's the Gatewatch.
Yeah, it's the Gatewatch. Jace, Gideon,
Chandra.
Chandra, Liliana, and
Nissa.
right? But all non-Liliana Planeswalkers got an undead version of themselves. So you can see Jace kind of zombified in this one.
That's really cool.
Nissa's is really cool.
I don't know if we can send them over to Scott. Maybe get a few up on the background while we're switching over to the match. He's probably busy getting us switched over to the match. Which
don't know. I don't know which Gideon it is. It kind of puts me on tilt
you'll figure it out.
because I don't know what Gideon.
Ally of Zendikar.
Yes. All right. Because there's the two Gideons in standard right now. Kytheon.
Yeah. Green Black Delirium versus Band Company.
See, like arms cut off, crows poking in his neck,
Wow.
and they're not dark.
I'm sorry, guys. We're drooling over some
Yeah,
of
no,
this
the
artwork. and
guys, if you
it's-
haven't seen them, go check out the SDCC Planeswalkers. They're fantastic. Chandra Flamecaller is pretty fantastic as well.
Now I want to play set, and I don't want to spend the money.
Isn't it? Yeah.
So
Flamecaller, her body's actually cremated because she's the Pyromaster, which is fantastic. And the Nissa's is also fantastic. SDCC. Hers is like, she's a zombie with like plants growing out of her. Fantastic. But Liliana is the only non-zombified one because she's the Necromancer, and that's just, she just did it to everybody else. Yeah, it's all her fault.
I do think she's probably the coolest planeswalker out of the bunch.
That we, out of that bunch?
Yeah.
Probably.
The most relevant, definitely the most relevant right now next to Gideon. Okay, so
mean-
we are in the match 3 with
mean-
Kevin Jones and Matt Tumovich.
Jace is, how's it going, sir? Jace is actually just the main character of Magic.
And it looks like Matt has mulled down to 6 here.
Yeah,
Kevin fine with his hand.
the master of, I'm going to keep this 7 cards. I haven't seen him mulligan on camera yet. And outside of the one, like, land wastes hand that he never played a single spell off of, like, it's been doing solid.
Hasn't bit him in the butt yet.
So they're getting a From the Vault foil?
What?
The SDCCs are getting it from the vault foiling, I guess.
Wow.
Not super excited about that.
Okay. Matt Tumovich, Scries. Decides to keep this 6.
All right,
So
Kevin Jones
draw.
being on the play is probably a great place.
Draw. So it's one. It was
Ooh, here we
1
go.
and 1.
That's a great land.
All right. So
I don't know what our land base
So
looks
the-
like, but I know there's a waste in Kevin's hand, and that's the least favorite of my lands.
least favorite of Kevin's lands, I would say too.
Yeah.
So Sylvan Advocate, turn 2, gets decked in stone immediately.
So Servant Advocate becomes a clue.
Now the question is this: what is Kevin's lands? He's got a fine number of them.
Yep.
So he's gonna put 3 down, play Nissa, go
Ooh.
get the 4th one. Pretty good turn 3 play here.
Absolutely.
So Matt untapping, he's got lands as well. Question is, you don't Reflector Mage this, right? Because, well, he doesn't have blue.
We don't have mana for the
Thalia.
Reflector Mage. Thalia is
Huh.
great.
That is a very relevant play here. If Kevin can't get that off the board, this becomes a little awkward for Kevin.
Yeah, I agree. Dramoka's Command's probably not good enough in the spot. Like, I don't know. It's tough.
Well,
Thalia
here's
is
the
gonna
thing
battle
now.
really well.
See, okay.
That gets
All
Reflector
right.
Mage really well.
There we
too.
go. Gets it off the board. He smashes in for 2, puts both of them at 18.
Oh, Reflector Mage enters
comes
tapped.
in, comes in tapped. So sequencing it right, he plays the land. Of course, it's going to come in tapped anyway because he doesn't have 2 basics. But Kevin
He
still
does.
sequencing.
Oh, no,
it
he
right.
doesn't. That's right.
Yeah.
No, he does. He's got the planes and the
Wait,
wastes.
so okay. So why
Yeah.
did it come in tapped?
It really doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
blue. I mean, possibly Kevin has Dispel post board. Possibly.
Yeah.
But
All right. So Matt playing Tireless Tracker, which seems okay, but still not great. It blocks good, but Kevin's board's a little better progressed. He's hitting all his land drops. That
Yeah.
Nissa is going to become relevant in a few turns.
wow,
Wow.
that's
So
insane.
Kevin's just gonna.
Caleb Shearer went 6-2 at regionals and finished 9th.
Wow. Ouch.
What's going on, Tony? Tony, giving me a shout out in the chat.
Okay.
I really like Kevin's position here a lot, actually, simply because we have a Nissa on the floor in the face of the Tireless Tracker. Tracker's great, but like if Matt can't get the Nissa off the floor, she's gonna just really gunk things up for Matt. And we're already at 5 lands. We need to hit 2 more lands, and Kevin's got a Spell Queller in his hand.
Well,
And he's got
Matt
Deck and Stone
holding
as
Matt
well.
holding at least 1 Ojutai's command.
Yeah.
So there's another clue token off the land drop. Matt trying to figure out what to do here. Didn't block with Tireless Tracker last turn. I mean, so do you just attack in with it? He's gonna pop a clue.
Attack is fine.
No. Okay, he's gonna play Sylvan Advocate. Just a 2/3.
Yeah, the attack here is fine. You really aren't in danger of too much. But I guess...
Okay, so Kevin is going to Spell Queller that. And probably not the worst thing in the world, right? I mean,
Nope.
1 more land drop, it gets big and becomes difficult to deal with.
Yep. Kevin does have the Declaration in Stone in hand.
Okay, so he's going to... Matt's going to bounce that back to his hand, get his tracker back. Actually, Matt not in a bad position either now.
Nope.
And that's, honestly, how a lot of these Band Company mirrors go. Very back and forth.
Yeah, you have to really jockey for position in these. Kevin actually... I really like Kevin's position. I think Kevin's in a great spot to actually win this game, simply because he's got an Archangel Avacyn in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And if he actually just resolves that, like, it's a great spot. And I think that's why Kevin went for the Spell Queller right there. It's because if his opponent interacts with it in any way, then Kevin can just untap and have Archangel Avacyn while his opponent's tapped out.
Right. So Plan of Lumbering falls here for Kevin Jones. 5 lands untapped. He's going to chip 2 in with his Selfless Spirit, which will sail over Matt's board. And
I
put him
actually
to
think
12.
I really like sending the team.
Well,
I don't know. Kevin
you know-
Kevin probably has a different plan. So we know that Tumovich has the Ojutai's command in his hand, right? So I'm trying to play around that in my head because I know it's there, right? I
But
can't.
see, Kevin doesn't.
Yeah, I can't unlearn that information. However, but Kevin just has Archangel Avacyn, has the Selfless Spirit on the floor, so you can just flash it in, make all you guys indestructible, sacrifice to the Selfless Spirit.
See, now we're
And
getting into the
flip all your
point.
creatures.
Now we're getting into the point where Kevin could have Collected Company. Tumovich has got to make some decisions here. He doesn't have a Collected Company bone. He's got a Dramoka's command, a Thalia, and an Ojutai's command. So maybe we try and take care of Nissa before she becomes too big of a problem.
Yeah, Nissa's flipping next turn if
Yeah.
Kevin hits his land drop. So that is a worry.
And then maybe we use the other 3
Yeah.
to play the Thalia and just kind of pass.
Yeah.
Because
So
once you
Dromoka's
tap out,
command Thalia.
once you tap out for 2, you're not bluffing Collected Company anymore. That's
Yeah.
for certain.
Looks like Tumovich is gonna sack a clue.
Okay.
Interesting.
Gonna draw.
I actually
Reflector Mage.
that's another thing I don't like out of Kevin's position is you had your opponent tapped out. And you have the Archangel Avacyn
So you could
capability.
have played her, sacked yourself a spirit, wiped his board.
Yeah, I guess not too because it's during the Tumovich's upkeep when it flips, and Tireless Tracker is going to be able to live through that. Where now it's not going to be
Okay,
able to.
so now that Tumovich is tapped out, Kevin's going to play Avacyn.
Yeah, and we're in a much better spot now too.
So does Kevin? No, he doesn't have to flip his Avacyn right now. He can just wait.
I think we have to flip it on our upkeep, but so it's rough because Tireless Tracker, if Tumovich gets to untap, is going to live through the Avacyn
Right.
flip.
So it flips. That's going to wipe Tumovich's board, and that
He's
could
going to
truly-
kill Kevin's creatures as well.
Yeah. But and Tumovich just shaking hands,
Yeah, that's game.
giving him the win.
Yeah, I really don't think that's the spot where Tumovich should concede, to be honest.
No, I think you still got play there. I mean, you got an
Yeah.
Avacyn, but that's it. You got to
Yeah.
get rid of that.
Right? Like you can
You can-
untap Ojutai's command back your Sylvan Advocate, gain life so you don't die to the Avacyn, and then you can
he
untap
has-
and
and
has
I-
the Dromoka's command.
And
You
I
just
thought
Dromoka's
he
command
had
and get rid
a
of-
and I thought he had a Reflector Mage in hand as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can buy yourself some time there.
Yep.
I mean, you still got play left.
Yeah, I don't think it was correct to just
Nah.
concede at that point. Like, again, you just leverage your position in the bank company mirrors, and like Kevin leveraged his position very well, and Tumovich just needed to, like you said, Reflector Mage back into the game, and then like Kevin's going to be able to play Archangel Avacyn at instant speed again because it doesn't get affected by the Reflector Mage because you're hitting the second half of Archangel Avacyn.
Right.
So I just don't think it's concession right there.
Well, that'll put us into the finals. So it'll be Kevin Jones versus
Josh Stringer?
yes,
Josh Stringer on Black Green Delirium.
versus Bank Company. Are we allowed to say who we're rooting for here?
Yeah, no, we definitely pick it out. Like, I really like the Delirium deck. I think it's great, but I'm not gonna lie. Like, voting against the daddy is just not a good place to be for anybody apparently today.
Well, I'm not a local guy, so I'll root for the underdog then. Okay, that way
I
we
mean,
got one of each.
again, like I like the Black Green deck a
do
lot.
too.
I think it's sweet, but like we're talking about, like I put in 100 reps a day, Band Company Daddy right now. He knows his deck very well. He knows how to play it. He knows how to play against people.
Well,
Was he dead on board? One of the guys says in chat, was there a Lumbering Falls? I guess, yeah, no,
There-
Kevin
there
had
may
a
have
Lumbering
been.
Falls. Is that enough? It's only 9, right? Wasn't his opponent at 10?
I think so.
All right, I have his opponent at 12.
Yeah, 12. I think you're fine.
Why do we
I
go
thought
from
it-
14 to 12, though? Selfless Spirit Attack goes from 14 to 12. Flip goes to 9.
Yeah, okay,
So
yeah,
the
yeah,
Avacyn
yeah,
flip
yeah,
trigger
yeah,
dealing
yeah,
3
yeah,
damage
okay.
to him. Activate Lumbering Falls.
This is what happens when we don't update our life totals, folks.
Well, I think this happens to regular players even playing the game. You just kind of forget about the manland sometimes.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. Jojo Seif, 07. You're absolutely correct. The 3 damage from the Lumbering Falls was totally missed. Also, we hadn't had our life totals entirely updated because of the Avacyn flip, so we weren't aware that he was at 9. I thought he was still at 12 when Avacyn had completely resolved. So I was thinking from a higher life total.
Well, looks like Kevin's going to take a little breather, and Josh as well.
Yeah, Josh probably had a decent breather because he hasn't had to play in a little while. Kevin probably wants to get up, do some jumping jacks. That's what I like to do. Anyone who plays Division can share my sentiment. Jumping jacks are fantastic. Probably best emoji in the game, I think.
So, anybody on Twitch, since we haven't been able to look at it, tell us how the PT top 8's doing, too. I'm interested to know who's progressing.
I think one of my buddies was super sad because Reed, Duke, and LSV had to play like round 1.
Okay.
So that kind of saddening because they're probably 2 of the bigger powerhouses in the top 8, and like to have to knock one of those guys out early. And I don't think it's a fantastic company matchup, so I don't think LSV probably beat Reed, but I don't know.
I've never met Reed personally, but I've heard he's like one of the nicest guys in Magic. He's just very Very nice. So what are we getting over on the Twitch channel? Anything good?
Yeah, no, just conversing about the life total. Apparently, this guy Joe Nassif, Matt's my teammate.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. So Matt Tumovich is Joe's teammate. Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Awesome, dude. Well, congrats
Great.
on the top 8.
Yeah, man.
Like, it was great to see you guys up here. Like, I think it was a pretty diverse and awesome top
Yeah.
8. Your buddy really gave the business to that white red humans deck. Like, guy was like drawing like terrible.
Yeah.
Like, and all 3 of his lands were battlefield porters. So
Yeah.
every little thing he did was like damage. So it's just not a great position.
No. Again, no aggro making the top 8 here.
Well, so this deck can kind of be construed as an aggro deck. It's like you're playing like 7 2-drops, and then
but the
removal spells.
The 2-drops are relevant to kind of your game plan, which is I don't think the main game plan is beat you down as quickly as possible before you can get your game plan on.
That's not what Grim Player says. Grim Player says beat you down real quick.
I
It's
don't
got
know about
trample.
that.
Anytime a card says trample, that says beat you down.
Thing's a
real quick.
2/2 with trample.
All right, so how are you saying a 2/2 with trample is not a beat down card?
Because what's it going to trample over?
2 1s.
Because there's a lot of those in the format right now, right?
Have you seen the white red humans deck list?
All right, look.
I don't want to say the name, but Fabiano ended up going 2/2 and drop. His
Yeah.
deck looked really sweet. He was playing like a mono black Eldrazi deck, and I guess currently Sam Pardee green black Delirium versus Andrew Brown on his Temerge deck.
Temerge.
Party's up 2-0, I guess. So
Okay.
Party, I think we're at the state where we need 3 wins to move on.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Be heartbreaking if Turtenwald, after the run he's had, getting inducted to the Hall of Fame. I mean, like the icing on the cake, the capstone would be winning the Pro Tour.
Yeah, that would
obviously.
be sweet, of course.
But a lot of other good players there, though. It's certainly a pretty stacked top 8 there.
Absolutely.
I mean,
No.
that's a tough field.
Yeah, the top 8, like Sam Party, Andrew Brown, Odin Turnwald, Reed Duke, LSV, one of the Japanese guys who's held in definitely high regard. That's all I can really rattle off the top of my head.
Oh, we'll go down the top 8 list here. Let's see.
Yeah, Party was the only one playing Black-Green Delirium. I don't remember who was on the white-black control deck.
Yeah, so the white, LSV was on obvious
Company.
Band Company. So Sam Party's
He was on
playing
the
Green Black
Delirium.
Delirium. Reed Duke is on the ramp.
Delirium ramp.
Delirium ramp.
specifically.
So Yuta Takashi
All right, one of
is
the other
on Band Company as well.
Yep.
Looks like almost the same list as LSV, so maybe they're. So Lucas Blahan is on the black-white
Yep.
control deck. Then we've got Andrew Brown, who's on your also sort of a ramp style Temerge.
Yeah, the
4-color Temerge.
more into the creatures to sacrifice
Yeah.
than he is into
Value.
just every creature being fine.
Value Emerge, if you
Yeah.
will. And then we have Owen Turnwald on Team Emerge.
Yep.
And then Ken Yukihiro, who is on ramp as well,
The more traditional style of ramp.
playing 2 Chandras, etc. So
Yep.
looks like
Hockey Girl, we are heading into the finals. I don't know where the Pro Tour is specifically. I don't really know what round they're in specifically.
we can look it up for you.
Yeah.
Have a handy dandy
Notebook.
right in front of here. So Pro Tour Eldritch Moon, 24 to 28 point standard deck list. Let's see here. I could put the Twitch stream on. That would be a little like Escher-esque, a Twitch stream while watching a Twitch stream.
Yeah. I could probably just bring it up really quickly.
I mean, you could
Um,
on the bigger box.
Teamer emerged. They're going into game 3. Quarterfinals. All right, so the Pro Tour is in the quarterfinals.
Yep.
But hey, we're here watching this right now.
Well, we aren't good enough to make Pro Tour commentary.
Maybe one day in the far off future.
One day when I'm all,
Or if I get really pretty and grow long hair.
one day when I'm all grown up,
Yeah.
you know.
No, but the top 8 is fantastic, right? I don't know the Asian guys as much, the
Mhm.
guys from the Japan, but
Mhm.
I know pretty much everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 Channel Fireball guys in the top 8.
well,
fantastic.
I mean, come on.
Half the top 8 being your team, it's probably
Yeah.
pretty good.
You almost kind of don't care. Not that you don't care who wins, but it's a win
Yeah.
no matter which one of you.
Yeah,
You know?
you guys represented very well at that.
when oh god, what's his name from what was it, Team Face to Face or top 8 at the Eldrazi Winter Pro Tour, the last modern Pro Tour.
Don't know face to face all that well.
Yeah.
I don't remember that one. The only name that I remember from that was like Frank Lepore, I think.
Yeah, well, Frank Lepore was in the top 8, but out of that top 8, one of the guys who made round 8 and died during round 8, but he was playing one of the blue-red Eldrazi decks that eventually took it home. I remember interviewing him on our show and like being like, well, okay, so what was, how did you, or not interviewing, a friend of mine interviewing him on his show.
Okay.
And I remember my friend asking him, well, look, so you're playing in the Pro Tour, and it was one of his first Pro Tours.
Nice.
And you're playing this deck, you realize you've broken the format at this point. Like
Absolutely.
your first couple matches, you're like, okay, well, this deck just wins. Yeah. So when you made top 8, like, what are you thinking? You think, oh my God, I gotta go up against this stacked top 8. I'm a small fish in a big pond. He goes, first thing that runs through my mind, oh my God, I'm qualified for the next 7 Pro Tours. I don't have to go through any of this again. I'm in.
Yeah.
He's after that,
fantastic.
he's like, after that, it almost didn't matter. You lose round 1, okay, I can come back next year and I'm good.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, I think that probably will be going through my mind. The fight is over.
Absolutely.
I'm here. I'm just, you know what? Now I can kind of work on getting really good, honing my craft, and coming back next year and doing better.
I've played in multiple preliminary Pro Tour qualifiers, probably 10 plus easy. I've only actually come away with the invite from one of them, and just the whole RPTQ experience for me was fantastic because I got to go, I got to try to compete, and the level of competition was fantastic, and I laid out my sealed pool for a bunch of my friends who are great limited players, and they're like, yeah, this looks great, this may have been your best deck. I had actually 3 different decks that I could have played. Mm-hmm. I ended up playing a red-white deck. I had decent creatures in white, and I had fantastic removal in red, and then a bunch of people looked over my pool and were like, dude, I think blue-black may have been your best pool. And I was like, really? And I looked at it we got decent removal in it, but I have great evasive creatures. And then my green-white was fantastic. I had great ground pounders, and I had some flyers and 0 removal spells. But I had a Sigarda in green-white as well. Mm-hmm. So I had great creatures and great removal spells all throughout the curve. And there's actually 3 solid decks that could have come out of that. And 4 and 5 would have been medium decks. And I think I built one of the medium decks. And I ended up going 3-3 and not doing all that well. Mm-hmm. But I ended up playing against Mark Morrison, as we saw on camera. I ended up playing against a couple other really good players from the area, and it was a great experience. I got to go to the RPTQ and really feel that, and that's the same thing for the Pro Tour on a much larger scale. You know what I mean? You don't only get the taste of what it is, but you're I get to come back, and that's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can't wait to see, I can't wait to see what happens after the Pro Tour and how the meta shifts, because as a lot of the guys we've had on camera today, Kevin Jones, Jim Davis, and a bunch of other people, you ask them all, what do you think the meta? What do you think the meta is like here? What do you think it's going to be afterwards? And all of them is the same thing. It's half old, half new. Yep. So what we're going to get, hopefully, is something completely new. After this is all kind of shakes out over the next week or two.
So, I think happened with last Pro Tour when I think LSV's team really did break last Pro Tour with the green-black sacrifice deck. Yep. I think that was absolutely fantastic, and I don't know why Reed's team came up with the Seasons Pass deck, and I said this to multiple people, and I like saying this. I think it's the funniest thing about this deck is John Finkel top-8'd a Pro Tour, and his win conditions were 2 Borderland Rangers, and 2 or 3 Rox War Monks, just a 3/4 with lifelink. That's just win conditions, and man lands, 2/2 Death Touch man lands. This is how this man won games, and it's great to watch, and the Seasons Pass deck is actually fantastic, but outside of that Pro Tour, the deck actually wasn't that good, right? It was really built for that Pro Tour. Mm-hmm. The green-black sacrifice deck suffered from a lot of that as people started shifting back to their regular scheduled programming. The sacrifice deck wasn't that good after a little while. People played the Seasons Pass deck and were just I have a bunch of Maidboard Kalidas. You just never beat this card.
Right.
So ended up just like dying off to the wayside. Both of the decks just like started fading away, and like we're just like, all right, well, here's a 4-color right deck, that's sweet, and then here's Bank Company and green white tokens again. So like that's kind of how the metagame for the Pro Tour went. People like really broke it and started beating it with like these decks, but then like green white tokens and Bank Company are so consistent and so powerful all the time. That's just like you can play a more volatile combo-ish deck, or you can play the Seasons Pass deck, where sometimes you have really bad draws. They're like. But like the green white tokens deck, like if you go Planeswalker into Avacyn, like you're gonna do really well.
So here we are, Kevin Jones, Josh Stringer. This is for all the marbles,
All
the
of them.
finals.
Kevin, Daddy actually no-sir'd the splitting, I think, all the way through
Really?
top 8.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, Daddy is home apparently.
here we go.
Ooh, Kevin Jones.
Remember
No,
what you
that
said
doesn't-
about never mulling? Way to jinx it, Josh. I'm letting Kevin know.
You should.
I'm gonna be like, Kevin, I gotta tell you, man, I'm sorry.
Ooh, LSV and Turtenwald are through to the semis.
Oh.
So we're looking at Sam Party being heavily up against Andrew Brown right now, I believe is what we got the report of.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam Party is probably locked. He's got 3 games to screw it up and prove me wrong.
Well, here's the thing. Josh and Kevin, they've only got 3 games total
Yeah.
if this goes long.
So I like this hand. I see multiple lands out of Kevin, and more than likely your
Okay,
Bank Company
Kevin
deck,
on the
most of the
play.
cards are the same thing.
Playing Lumbering Falls, Stringer playing his own, Manland tapped, passing. Jones playing a Plains, passing the turn back. No
Good.
turn 2 play, that's not good.
Yeah,
Not
definitely
good.
not against this deck.
Stringer, turn 2, playing Grimflare? No,
Sylvan
Sylvan Advocate, okay. Just as well.
Yeah, I like this so much better than I like the Grimflayer.
Turn 3, we going to bounce it? Do we have the ability to bounce? I don't think we do.
We might have a Spell Queller, though.
Uh-oh.
Or we
Kevin
might
Jones
just be
passing
bluffing
fast.
Spell Queller. See how good Spell Queller is?
He has Spell
We
Queller.
could just not have
Okay.
it.
2, Kevin Jones goes to 18. Josh Stringer sacking.
Land, Liliana,
Yeah.
Spell Queller.
What's he? Yeah, Liliana. Nope.
Tireless
Tireless
Tracker.
Tracker.
Spell
Okay,
Queller.
Spell Queller.
Play something. Spell Queller.
And you know what though? That's okay because this deck plays a decent amount of removal. Don't
Yes.
think that Spell Queller is going to be there that long. As a matter of fact, can't see Josh's hand, but if I were him and I had a 4th land drop, I would untap, kill that thing, and then play my land.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah, and then we have 2 mana open to use the clue.
Passing. So Kevin has a Collected Company in hand. So Josh is going to attack first, putting Kevin down to 16. Doesn't look like he may not have removal in hand.
Yeah, he might not.
Okay, 2. Nope, no, he does. He does. Oh, no.
He's got a
Okay.
Grimflayer.
Grimflayer. Okay.
Kevin doesn't care too much about the Grimflayer.
Nah, but he's going to collect a company in response, certainly.
I don't know how I feel about this. I didn't see any notion of passing the turn.
No, but I mean, here's the thing. You're going to collect a company anyway.
Yeah.
If all you get are Spell Quellers, at least you're going to get some value off
True.
of them, right? So maybe Kevin's just thinking. And we know, do we have Josh's deck list here? I think we do, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the one made by Donald Trump got it. So we know Josh has got Languishes in his board, but none in the main.
Yep.
And this is game 1. So you kind of don't have to worry too much about overextending.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin had access to the deck list, however, so I don't know if Kevin
Fair
knows
enough.
that.
The other thing is this, and Kevin might be thinking, Josh has got to be playing Emrakul's in the main.
Yeah.
So this game can't go long.
Yep.
Kevin has just got to start dealing damage and killing Josh. Oh, boy.
Tireless Trackers and Eldrazi Displacer, both fantastic pickups off of Company.
All right, and Josh is just going to get rid of that tracker right now.
That's not my personal choice for card you should grasp of darkness right now.
Kind of think maybe you want the Displacer gone?
Yeah, I kind of want to kill the Displacer.
I mean, although Kevin doesn't have any colorless mana. So Kevin's going to need to draw colorless mana and a mage to make that Displacer really start doing some work.
Yeah, we are attacking for 5 right now as
Yeah.
well.
Okay, so he's going to take the Displacer out that way.
Wow.
Huh. So what do you kill here?
Tremoka's Command. That's what I
Really?
kill. Everything with Tremoka's Command.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I think, gosh, it's tough because both of them end up being 4-power creatures.
Or Kevin does have a Collected Company in hand. He could company here. Try and bounce one of them.
Yeah, I think that's a fine
No,
path.
he's just
He's
gonna
going to
let it
go
go.
with the Sylvan
Okay.
Advocate. Okay.
I think he's got a company in hand. I thought I saw that.
Maybe it's just Selfless. Maybe he might have a
No, he
company
does
in
in
it.
a Selfless Spirit
Yep.
and a Tracker.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so turn back to Stringer, tapping 3 mana. Gonna play
Here's the
Liliana.
Liliana.
Okay.
We're probably, I don't know. So 2 Spell Quellers are gone already.
He's
One's in
gonna
the bottom
minus
of the
it.
library.
He's gonna just go for Delirium right now, get his Advocate back. Okay.
Yeah, Kevin could, in theory, have tried to company into a Spell Queller, but at this point we only have 2 left in the deck. The one is on the bottom from the company.
All right. In response, is a company to the Sylvan Advocate brought back by Liliana and cast by Stringer. Kevin drawing his cards, looking.
And we got a Selfless Spirit and a Dustwatch Recruiter.
Not a great hit off that.
Yeah, it's fine. Like the Selfless Spirit's going to take care of the Liliana at the very least.
True.
And we've
Well,
got the
Spell
Spell
Queller.
Queller to keep going through the air. So we've got like 4 power and flyers right now.
Yeah. You know, if I were Kevin, I would just feel that this is a little too slow. Like I want Josh dead.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm just personally too afraid of Emrakul, but it just feels to me like if you're asking yourself, how do I lose this game? That is the answer right there.
Yeah.
Everything else is dealable. You
Yep.
kind of work around everything else, but that's how you lose the game. Liliana go down, 2 to the face to Stringer, putting him to 14.
I don't know. Gosh, I don't know what we do here for Daddy. I think Kevin either wants to try to pass the turn so we can flip the Recruiter and draw a card off the Recruiter, or we can apply Tireless Tracker, play a land, get a clue, Selfless Spirit. And I think that's what Kevin's going to do. He's definitely going to play the Tracker here. At least that's what he's identifying with the 3 lands tapped.
He certainly has decisions to make.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
here's
tough.
the thing. You're going to play your hand out. Not that you don't want to. I just mean, that's it. Like,
Yeah.
you're playing off
And-
the top of your deck, which is okay. The band company can do that.
Yes. Fair Company plays off the top of the deck quite
And
well.
I mean, you're going to get draws next turn. You're going to get 2 clues. And Stringer is tapped out. I think you just go for it.
Yeah, I think we want the Tracker on the floor. Ooh, all right. Or just Dustwatch Recruiter. That was like double Tramoka's command combo.
Oh, man, that's not good.
Yeah, so we just slammed Tireless Tracker there. We're in a much better place.
Well, he's going to play the land and get a clue and then probably play Tireless Tracker. Or no, Tireless Tracker's not in play. That's Stringer's Tireless Tracker under the Spell Queller. Oops.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to Duskwatch Recruiter again. Okay.
Yep, we're going to flip Recruiter.
We're looking for...
Get
Okay,
a
we got another
Tireless
Tracker.
Tracker.
What do you think he's looking for there? Reflector Mage?
Reflector Mage is fine. I think...
Oh, okay, he's going to let
Displacer?
it flip. It blocks better now.
yeah, Displacer
Okay.
is also great in that spot. Like,
Yep.
getting another Displacer because now we have the colorless mana start activating
Are we
it.
traversing here? Looks like we may
I
be.
also really like Advocate in Kevin's spot because he does have the Lumbering Falls, and a 5/5 Lumbering Falls is very big on this board.
Fair enough. So we're just traversing for a land drop here, which is fine.
Yep.
I mean, and
Add the
that's...
sorcery to the graveyard. It
Yep.
gives us Delirium. We now have instant land, sorcery, Planeswalker.
Yep.
And it gives us the 6th land for Sylvan Advocates. So now we have 2 4-power creatures.
Absolutely.
And our Krakenweiler Howler?
Kralin Horde Howler.
Yeah, Krellin Horde Howler.
No longer blocks well.
Yes. He
So
blocks.
Kevin's just going to take all 8, and Stringer's going to be able to now stack his deck if he wants to, or he can just bin all the cards on the top, which is a nice place to be.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. Just bin all 3.
So 8 to putting Kevin Jones to 8, Stringer at 14, playing
That's a beating
Ishkana.
right there.
That is going to be a problem for Kevin Jones.
Yeah, that's what's going to make everything very difficult.
Remember when I said, how can I lose this game? I lied. There's 2 ways you can lose this game, and Ishkana
Yeah.
the Graft Widow is the other way to lose this game.
That's a Reflector Mage. I don't know how well that's going to perform currently. It just doesn't seem...
You really actually need an Avacyn flip here.
Yeah, it really doesn't seem all that great.
Okay, well, he's going to take...
Gets rid of the Advocate. Very interesting. Play Tireless Tracker here.
Yeah,
All right. I don't know if we have a land drop.
we do not.
Yeah, that's a bad place to be.
I mean, he can buy himself some time. He's got Selfless Spirit and another Selfless Spirit in hand, so we can sack one off, buy us a turn.
Yep.
Maybe take a few things with us. Certainly, you don't want that Flare getting any damage through and letting Josh stack his deck again. So he's going to double block there and make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to triple block because
Yeah, he might just go in on the blocks because we can sacrifice the Selfless Spirit for indestructibility.
fair enough. No, but
So-
it looks like that's all he's doing.
Kraken Lord Howler.
Kralin.
I think that's a terrible name for a werewolf.
Kralin Horde Howard, not Kraken Lord. Kralin.
This is what this guy says. It says Kraken Lord Howler.
It's not. He's joking with you. Don't believe everything you read on Twitch. Kralin Horde Howard.
You mean you trying to tell me that the internet's not always right?
Sometimes, occasionally.
Yeah,
There's-
Crowlin Horde.
Yeah. It's the name of a place in Innistrad. Come on, man. Don't you know your lore?
Absolutely not. I was like, what's Kaladesh?
All right, so Kevin Jones. Turn back to Kevin Jones. Still at 8. Gets a land drop.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
So
so
we should let him
Jace.
take the Dustwatch Recruiter?
He did.
Interesting.
Plays Jace. Really no reason to play the other Selfless Spirit, but the Tireless Tracker can run that guy out.
Yeah, I like getting Tireless Tracker onto the floor.
Okay. So Kevin not in the worst spot in the world here. He's got a board.
Yep.
Can't do anything about Ishkana, but can't die right away at least.
Yeah, if we can start drawing lands and really powering up our Tireless Trackers, we can really start taking this game back.
Well, herein lies the problem. And as I was saying, this goes longer and longer. Stringer makes more and more land drops. All it's going to take is an Emrakul off the top or Traverse the Uven Wall, and it's going to get very bad. So we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that 8 lands? Are we at now? Looks like 8 lands. Plus you have Delirium, so that's 12. At least, if not 13, depending on what's in that yard.
Yeah, I think we hit creature in the yard. We were at instant sorcery land planeswalker creature. So we're at 5.
We can
so
cast
we
that.
need 8.
Yep. So I mean, Stringer can cast Emrakul next turn.
Yeah.
All he has to do is find that Traverse. Stringer tanking for a minute. It looks like. I don't know if there's really any profitable attacks here.
Well, it looks like we're back to Daddy right now.
Are we?
Yeah, he's untapped.
Okay. All right. I don't think he's drawn yet. Does Stringer want to do something on Daddy's draw step?
Maybe. He's got all the mana up to activate Ishkana.
He could do that. Wow, okay. I just thought about that. Yeah.
Just drain Daddy for 4 and tap drain Daddy for 4.
Yeah. All he's got to do is live through one attack phase, basically.
Yeah, so we have to attack then?
Yeah, Jones has no choice here. He somehow has to get that Ishkana off the board.
Yeah, we have to send one of the flyers at the very least.
Okay, so he's going to loot with Jason flip. This will allow him to play a Collected Company, which could get him right back into this game. That one of Jace coming in real handy here.
Yeah. It's something I have advocated in this company deck as well. I really can't get around not playing the Jace, especially because now I have 4 of them.
Jim Davis would disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I side with the Daddy on this one.
I think the one-up's fine.
Yeah, no, like
Split
we were
1/1
talking about,
Nissa.
it's not a 4 of card anymore.
No.
It's one of those cards that we want less numbers of because the format is a little bit faster and more hostile to Jace.
Kevin Jones getting his Collected Company mana together and minusing Jace. Okay. Thinking a little more. He's going to play his land drop and get 2 clues off his 2 trackers. That seems just fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to play Collected Company and get to draw 2 cards. But the problem is this. If he does not hit a Reflector Mage off of this company, he's dead.
Yeah. Well, he's not. I guess Josh could just not block.
Right.
We have 14 power on the floor.
I don't know that we do.
We have 3, 6,
Well, let's see.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 power on the floor and the ability to sack 2 clues.
Well, he's minus Jace down. Okay, so he is going to cast Collected Company.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll resolve. And let us see what we get. I think I saw a Reflector Range there. I don't know. Let's see. No,
Displace your Selfless Spirit.
not a great draw. Well, he's
You
got the
could
no.
kill
He's
one
got
of
the
the
colorless mana to bounce the Reflector. So he can bounce Ishkana back.
Yeah.
I mean, not great, but it keeps him alive.
Yep.
I would imagine Stringer will just drain in response.
Yeah, he could also flicker one of the tokens just with Eldrazi Displacer, just to kill one of the tokens off and be able to continue attacking with the Reflector Mage. But it also could just be correct to just Reflector Mage the Ishkana back to hand. And
This
then
is a good
attack.
game one here. This is
Yeah.
really...
Showing really just the strengths of both the decks. The strength of Ishkana itself, like, the card's very powerful.
Jones is tanking now. He's thinking. Okay, he's gonna... It looks like he's gonna blink Ishkana.
No, Kevin, I think, just said go.
Go. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know how correct I feel that is.
Well, wait a minute. Could he blink Ishkana in response?
He can,
And then...
and then it's less damage.
Right.
It's only 3.
Okay. Or he blinks a token. He might just blink a token in response.
Yeah.
Okay, so at the end of Kevin's turn, he's going to blink.
Yeah.
Kevin's going to... Okay. Kevin's going to bounce it back in response. Fair enough.
Yep. So we're gonna get a drain of 3, putting Kevin to 5,
Okay.
and then we've got an uncastable Ishkana in our hand, but we've got the Sylvan Advocate coming back, but Kevin's gonna be able to untap.
All right,
with
Stringer drawing an
2
Oath of
clues.
Jace. Wow. That would be pretty bad if she Oath of Jace into an Emrakul right here. That would be rough. Okay, what do we get?
Obnixilus Nissa. Something else? One other card I can't really see.
I
Kind of looks like explosive vegetation, but that
Okay,
shouldn't be
no.
that.
think you just get Nissa, get your land drop flipper, draw into an Emrakul.
Yeah.
Okay. Stringer definitely still sort of in...
I think that's a Mind Rack Demon, actually.
Okay. Stringer still, doing okay here. Not
Yeah.
great. I mean, if Jones gets through the next turn or two unscathed, I think the...
Yeah, I love paying 2 mana for my Planeswalkers.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Really do.
Yeah, that's great.
It's kind of what Nissa does.
I think we're going to draw here, because I can't imagine minusing.
Yeah, the 4/4 is
Draw.
just going to gum up a more gummed up board, and it just
Nope,
kind of
just a
goes
land.
away to the Displacer.
So what does Stringer have in hand? He's
Sylvan
got
Advocate.
Advocate, and what else? He's got
Looks
a land.
like an Evolving Wilds.
Yeah. And what else? He's got 2 cards in hand. So he's got a wild.
Ishkana.
Oh yeah.
We know Ishkana's back in hand.
Duh.
So it's just Evolving Wilds Ishkana? Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it is. Not a bad spot.
No.
Like, you're still at a decent life total. Wow. Fire up and attack.
He's
That's
going for it. So,
It's not a terrible attack.
well. Okay, so he gets rid of one of the flyers. All right.
I don't know why Quagmire's dead.
2/2 versus a 2. Oh. Yeah, I don't. Neither do I.
Because Advocate's definitely got 6 lands.
Right. All right. Well, judges may catch that. Jones playing a Evolving Wilds here.
Wow, 4 clue tokens.
Jesus.
That seems so good. Kevin actually, I don't know if Kevin runs any main board because I don't have his list in front of me, but the Odritize command is probably a very good card.
Gain him 4 life.
Countering Ishkana is what we want to do
I
because then we don't die to the
that.
activation.
No, I understand that, but I think choosing
not-
4 life might be pertinent here.
It might be fine. I don't know if we need it because Kevin's still definitely the aggressor in this matchup.
Does indeed have the beatdown.
Yeah, that Quagmire should still be on the floor.
Should be.
Or
Right.
maybe Kevin just like all in blocked it.
And then sacked in response, but then Quagmire shouldn't die. Oh, all in block,
Yeah, if you
sacked
just
in
blocked with
response.
everything, sacked
Sure, all right,
self-
so that's
selfless
probably what
spirit.
happens. Sometimes it's hard to tell when you're in here and you can't hear.
Yeah.
You know? Rather than shuffle all his creatures around, you just said block
Yep.
with everything, sack in response.
Yeah.
Seems fine. Okay.
Or like just block with a bunch of creatures, sacrifice this.
So
and
he's got
your
Spell
guy dies.
Queller. Doesn't help him against Ishkana.
No.
And he's got a company in hand? Looks like. Not a bad draw off that clue token.
It's fine. I don't know if we even bother at this point.
No,
I
he's
think-
got an Evolving Wilds. I apologize. Looks like a...
Okay,
Looked like a collected
that's actually marginally better in my opinion
Well,
because
get it
I
off.
kind of just want all the mana I can get my hands on because then we can start blinking Reflector Mage and just like put all of the Joshua's cards back in his hand.
Mm-hmm. So Josh can't cast Ishkana, and
Kevin is making some fairly large tireless trackers.
He is. Josh cannot cast Ishkana and use her ability in the same turn yet. We're slowly getting there with the mana he's got on the board. He's going to need 10, 11 to do that. Okay. Jones is blinking. It looks like he's going to blink.
I think you just blink Reflector Mage and hit the Sylvan Advocate, and then most of your attacks are still fantastic in this situation.
I think he may just be blinking the Advocate direct. Looks that way.
Nah, I think you should hit the...
No, he didn't.
Just no blink.
No.
Just no blink.
Nope, he's just attacking in. He's forcing Stringer to block. Stringer's going to take some damage, it looks like.
Yeah. He chumps one of them and takes the other 5.
Going to 9. This is getting close, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's another thing I'm kind of a little just off-put about Ishkana's ability is how it's just a drain. It's not a drain gain. Granted, I think that would make it really powerful, sure. But
I'd play it.
yeah, no, it's still wildly playable
So
as it
Stringer
is.
attacking in with... So what he's trying to do here is force Jones to just get rid of his Selfless Spirits.
Yeah.
Those can hurt in the air, and they make life very difficult for removal.
For any non-Grasp of Darkness removal spells, I totally agree with you. But like the Grasps get around the indestructibility.
Sure.
And your Ishkana tokens are 1/2s that block very profitably versus Selfless Spirits.
So draw off there. Mind Rack Demon, not a bad draw at all.
Nope. It's not Ishkana, however.
No. And
Which
that's
is-
what we're going to play.
Yeah, absolutely. What we
Now,
play.
of course, Jones has mana up to blink his
Reflector Mage.
Reflector Mage, so Ishkana's probably going to go right back to Stringer's hand at the end of
Absolutely.
this turn. But that's kind of okay. You're sort of not really at parity. I mean, Jones still has the beatdown. No, he's going to... Okay, because he's going to...
his turn.
Yeah, he's going to untap it. Blink on his turn. Never
Yeah.
mind. I mean, sort of the problem here is if Jones can't close this out soon, there's going to be an army of spider tokens.
Oh, God, I'm so mad now. We don't have our Selfless Spirit to flip our Avacyn that we just drew off the top of our deck.
No, we don't.
So I Magic Card. But we still have awesome spells that we can cast and things that we can flicker. And I think at this point we're just smashing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what else is in Kevin. It's God, yeah. And then he could just all out attack. Josh will put in a bunch of blocks, and then he can just cast the Archangel Avacyn, make everything indestructible, and Josh loses a bunch of creatures. Kevin loses none.
Yep. Okay, so plussing Jace up on a token, so we're just going to put that over there to make sure we remember.
Yep.
Tanking for a minute, thinking what he wants to do, Kevin Jones.
I don't think we played our land for turn yet either. We
I don't
only have
believe so,
4
and
clues.
it's an Evolving Wilds, which is even better.
Yeah, so 8 clues is great?
Sure. Draw all the cards.
This is insane.
Okay, maybe he doesn't have an Evolving
All right,
Wilds
so-
in hand. Oh, no, you know what? I think he's got a Flip Avacyn. I don't know what he's got. All right. No,
He's
he's
got
got
an
a
Avacyn,
Deck and
yeah.
Stone, Avacyn, Spell Queller. No, he doesn't have a Deck and Stone. If he had a Deck and Stone, those tokens would be gone.
Absolutely gone. The game would be wildly over.
I don't know what he's got in his hand.
It's I think it's just an Evolving Wilds, but I'm not sure. I don't know why Kevin would want the untapped land more than like just playing Evolving Wilds, fetching Evolving Wilds. So I really think we're playing.
Wait, so
Avacyn
we're
this turn.
attacking? Okay, because we're gonna use Avacyn.
Yeah, I think I don't know how good the line is versus just holding up Spell Queller and whatever else could be in our hand, but we do have the Avacyn probability, and our opponent is a very low life total, and we have the ability to sacrifice 3 clues, so
Yep.
the tireless trackers have to be blocked. Like, they absolutely have to get blocked.
Okay. He's blocking with the token that's been minused by Jace. Blocking with another token. Gonna chump block maybe?
I think the other block
Queller?
that's really enticing for Josh is to triple block the Spell Queller.
Sure. But here's the thing. Josh is no fool with 5 mana open and an all attack with the key card, which is what's it called? Eldrazi Displacer,
Yep.
which could easily be triple blocked in this sense, and
Yep.
something you want to get off the board. There's no way you're committing.
Yeah.
You gotta know.
I also think So actually the reasoning behind Kevin flickering the Sylvan Advocate over the Ishkana at end of turn is I think Josh might have the ability to play the Sylvan Advocate again right now. Depending on the wording of Reflector Mage, which I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like I don't remember the exact turn sequencing in order to like how to play with like Reflector Mage. Your keyboard's not working.
Never is. All right. Return target creature opponent controls. That creature's owner can't cast spells with the same name as that creature until your next turn.
Sure. So if Kevin's
two
doing
turns.
if Kevin's doing it on the end step of his turn,
Yeah.
it goes to Kevin's turn. So it therefore would be Kevin's next turn.
Yeah.
So Josh can cast the Sylvan Advocate again, but he probably doesn't know that.
Ronus Path on one of the trackers.
I don't.
I would.
I don't like that.
I think you do Displacer, honestly.
Yeah, you kind of have to hit the Displacer because Displacer is what's causing you all kinds of trouble. Unless he's got another removal spell we don't know about.
Well, because Kevin's just going to blink his tracker out.
Yeah.
I mean, so you lose the tokens, but so what? You're still getting clues, although I think he's got more clues than he'll ever use in this game. But I could be wrong.
We also have a Spell Queller in hand,
Yeah.
which is
okay.
fantastic, by the way.
But he's going to queller that. Okay. Huh. Well, that's a problem. Now you've got 4 power coming into the air. You're going to play your Josh is going to play his advocate, but the problem is, so Josh is counting the damage now, figuring out whether or not Kevin can blink everything he's got on the board out, and he very possibly
Kevin has the
can,
capability of blinking
and then
twice
just
in one
attacking
turn.
in. So unless
So-
Josh has got another, or you could minus Nissa. You could minus Nissa and
Get the
that's-
4/4.
and get the 4/4.
I don't
know
mind
if
that.
I don't know if that buys you the time you need, though.
Yeah. Looks like Kevin's just going to untap, take his
Okay.
turn. Maybe not.
No. Maybe Stringer's
Yeah.
passing.
Kevin's mulling over how he's going to use his Eldrazi Displacer exactly. He wants to make sure he doesn't leave it open to a removal spell without having the capability of just like blinking all of Josh's creatures. Land drop's fine.
Yep.
We just have Archangel Avacyn and a million power creatures on the floor.
Seems like a fine place to be if your name's Kevin Jones.
Yeah, Kevin's managed this game very well.
He has, because he was behind at one point, and
Yep.
substantially.
Just really, really showing the power of as to why Band Company is as good as it is.
So he's going to blink 1 token out.
Yep. He doesn't have the colorless mana to blink 3 times in one turn. So at best we're going to see like a blink on the Reflector Mage here.
Or he may just keep it open for Avacyn.
Yeah, he might do that. Have we played her? We haven't played the land for turn yet.
No.
Okay. So we still have the land for turn option. If we do have the land for turn option, then we have sack a clue and play Avacyn in the same turn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a pretty
So
good
Stringer
place to be.
indicating that the Reflector Mage should be blinked, and I think Jones probably just told him, no, I just blinked your token out and didn't use Reflector Mage. I'm just blinking it directly.
Yeah, blinking the tokens directly is fine because it leaves the Reflector Mage able to attack.
Okay, so he's going to blink the other one. You're going to
Plus
minus
Jace,
yeah,
hit the Sylvan Advocate.
pairs it down a little bit. Play
Which
the
is
land for turn.
really good because Sylvan Advocate doesn't have reach, so it cannot block flying.
All right, and Kevin Jones is just going to come in for everything. And what do we have?
Murder, probably. 3 mana instant speed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Murder
he's going to
time.
murder. He's then going to get his
Ruinous Path.
Ruinous
back.
Path back, take out the other tracker. Huh.
Yeah, that was really solid play on his part. And then we have a decent chump block, but it looks like Kevin still gets him. Is that what happened?
I think so. Yeah, because he's still got enough power on the field to just brute force his way through.
Yeah.
So Kevin will take game 1. Kevin Jones 1-0 against Joshua Stringer.
Very well played by Kevin. He managed through a lot of really powerful threats that Josh put on the floor, and he was able to just keep the board state under control and not let it get too out of hand, and then company into two pieces that he really needed, finding the displacer to start flickering the reflector mage and bouncing creatures back and make it so Josh couldn't play any more threats that had the same name.
Well, now they're going to shuffle up. They're going to go to game 2. So let's go to the sideboards a little bit. See what we would bring in if we were these two. Obviously, we aren't because they're in the top 8 and we're sitting here in the dungeon commentating.
Yes.
So,
cards. It's so decidedly medium because Spellqueller and Collected Company and just flash threats in general. But Languish is, it's how you beat creatures. You play Wraths. Ishkana, another copy of Ishkana is probably great. Kalidas is fantastic in this matchup. To the Slaughter might be fine. Ob Nixilis is probably good. Transgress is probably good. A lot of these cards are good in the matchup, but it's just how well Josh can leverage them versus the threats that Kevin brings to the floor.
So on Kevin's side, I mean, I think Declaration and Stone's an auto-include given how much trouble Ishkana caused this last game.
Yep.
And he's going to be on the draw now.
Tokens.
Tragic Arrogance might not be the worst thing in the world to drag in here. I mean, that thing can clog up the board.
Yeah, no, Josh's deck clogs up the board decently well. Just Ishkana clogs up really well. And he's got a lot of early mana spells, and the Woodland Bellower into a second creature is fine. So Tragic Arrogance is probably okay. I think it's best when we have our Ishkana making a bunch of 1/2 spider draws, because then we just blow up everything, leave a 1/2 spider.
Sure. I wonder about Ojutai's command here. He's on the draw.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Snap include.
Yep.
The thing is it counters Ishkana. It counters Woodland Bellower finding another thing. It counters Mindwrack Demons. It counters Emrakul.
Yep.
Because, you're going to get the extra turn, but I'm going to actually counter the actual Emrakul spell. So you're not going to have the 13/13, and I'm going to have, you're going to do whatever you want with my turn, but the 13/13 is what really wins you that game.
And I don't think we're bringing in Summary Dismissal because really we're going to bring in Ojutai's command. It's a little more modal maybe.
Yeah, so that's what I don't get about Summary Dismissal. Is it's great against Emrakul, but everything else Josh is doing, it's so
Right.
medium against.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's so medium against Ishkana, so medium against Woodland Bellower. I just don't like it that much.
Yep. So I think we're looking at probably 2 Ojutai's command, 2 Declaration of Stone, maybe either the Tragic Arrogance or another Archangel Avacyn wouldn't be the worst play here.
Yeah, I could see Tameo Field Researcher coming
Really?
in too. It's just a great card advantage engine.
Okay.
Your opponent is attacking you. Your opponent's
Right.
trying to block your creatures as well. So just picking 2 creatures and just drawing extra cards for those 2 creatures is great, and you get to tap down 2 threats. So any
Sure, fair
non-Ishkana draw is great. You can just chill 2 opponents and then.
So maybe no
be
Arrogance
okay.
or Angel. Maybe we bring in Tameo instead.
Maybe. I do like the Archangel Avacyn. A flying threat's great, but again, we're playing against a deck that's probably playing for Grasp of Darkness.
Fair enough.
And that's really good against Archangel Avacyn.
Fair enough. Well, we'll go to game 2. See if Kevin Jones can just close it out 2-0 and move on.
Yeah, that would be good for our night. We would get to end it earlier than not.
You get to go get dinner.
Yeah, I had a little dinner actually.
Okay, well, I'll go get dinner.
Yeah, it would probably be much better for you.
You know what?
You have been here for quite some time, sir.
Well, when you...
You had to sit with Kevin Jones more times than I did, so you
I
probably.
told you, Kevin does the work for me. I just sit
I know,
here.
but listening to the guy can be tiring sometimes. Nah, I love Kevin. He's
No,
good.
you know what? It's great to listen to somebody who just is so passionate about this game and has
Yep.
thought so much about it and has so
And
much to say
really
about
knows
it.
what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
and he has, it's relevant. It's not
Yes.
just talking about himself. It's a relevant
Yep.
conversation about decks and whatever. And hopefully some of you guys in Twitch got some useful information off of that.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. So here we are, game 2, Kevin Jones. Josh Stringer's going to be on the play. It looks like both of them...
Yeah, we gotta keep
keeping their
some
hands.
both.
All right, so Stringer just firing off an Evolving Wilds immediately. Kevin gets his own. Stringer goes and gets a Forest.
Stringer is playing like he wants us out of here.
Well, there's no time limit on these guys, so
I
we
know.
can be here for a long time.
But he just slammed the Evolving Wilds, found the Forest, threw it on the table, and it was immediately shuffling after.
Stringer's like, you know what? I want Bob to get dinner. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's
go.
do this, man. All right, so he's got both colors he needs, and Transgress, good turn to play.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did bring in the commands.
I don't know. Does he have any main board? No, he's got no Ojutai's
No,
commands
so he
main.
brought them in
yeah.
sideboard. So I think you take company here, although I got to tell you, I would really want to get rid of Displacer too.
So I'm fine with leaving the Displacer because we have removal
Sure.
spells.
Sure.
And the company is the hardest card for us to interact with. So it's either company or Ojutai's Command.
Well, and
on
I think you take company because you can sort of play around Ojutai's Command.
Yes.
If you know they have it.
Yeah,
you can
but
play
if we
around
have
it.
Ishkana, then like that's the biggest incentive to taking the Ojutai's
Sure.
Command because Kevin's going to have the 4 mana up no matter what we take.
Funny enough, this could give Kevin some information too, depending on what he takes
Yeah.
this early on.
Yeah,
so
there's the company.
He's going to take the company.
Yeah, there's no truly wrong choice, I think, in there. There's just a good or great choice, and I think the company was the great choice.
So Jones untaps. Plays a waste. Not a great turn 2 land to play, but...
It's the second basic land,
Oh, fair enough.
and that's all we really want it to be. It's just a basic, so we can go,
So if
Prairie
he's got
Streams and
if he's got a
Canopy
Prairie
Vistas.
Stream, then he's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, Oath and Nissa.
Yeah, that seems like a fantastic interaction.
Wow. We're going to play another land, pass the turn.
Yep. With double black open for grass.
Now, here's
if we
the
need
problem, though. Jones does not have Spell Queller mana this turn. That Liliana is going to resolve if Josh wants it to.
Yeah, no, that's kind of offsetting. And I think that's the biggest issue with the Band Company deck is the mana base.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And this is technically, like I said, a 4-color deck, really,
Yep.
when you think about it. Jones tanking. Thinking what the best move here is. Maybe just
It's either Displacer or Nissa that we know about. I think it's Nissa.
Yeah, if Nissa dies this early on, she's gotten you some value.
We got the forest out of it.
And you just sort of move on.
Yeah, I'm not that worried about it, but if it's Displacer dies, we only actually have, 2 of them?
And funny enough, you can get Nissa back with Ojutai's Command later on. So
Nah, you can't get the Nissa. Ojutai's Command's 2 or less.
I keep thinking it's power 2 or less, not
2
with casting cost. Never mind. All right, 4 lands for Stringer. He's going to play his Mind Rack Demon. This should get him right to Delirium, hopefully, if he's lucky. And yes, we are at Delirium.
Instant sorcery land creature.
No damage off Mind Rack. Large flyer. Wow. Jesus.
Interestingly enough, you can get back Nissa via a Kolgan's Command,
Yes, you can.
which would mean you're playing Jund.
And there we are, right back. We've come full circle, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you thought we weren't going to get out of the rest of this night without coming full circle, we have indeed come full circle. Jones
saying.
not in the worst position here.
Nope.
Representing Collected Company can also blink that demon.
Is Demon an ETB effect? I think it's an ETB.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. So he
Which
could
would be
just.
insane. We could just mill your opponent.
I don't think
great.
Jones is going to go on the mill plan here. Transgress. So we're going to collect the company in response for sure.
Yeah, I like the company response. If you take the Ojutai's Command here, we're not all that sad about it.
No,
but
not at all.
I'd be sad losing a second collected company to
Absolutely.
Transgress.
So let's see what Kevin's gotten here.
I think I see a Deck and Stone on the top, which is...
That is not a bad play at all. Okay.
So did we do it in response?
I think we did,
yeah. We did, okay.
And Demon's going back to the hand. Wow. Good place to be if your name's Kevin Jones. Said that a lot. Oh, okay. All right. So the Transgress is going to resolve.
That's fine.
Yep. That is fine.
We still put the Demon back on the hand, and you get, one of any 3 great choices.
Well, I don't know. I think you just take Ojutai's Command.
Josh agrees with you.
Yep.
And I'm not talking about me.
Nope. All right. Fortunate thing here is Stringer's going to take 5. That's a hefty chunk of life.
That is indeed. I think he's we're rather low on cards, I think, too.
Yeah, well,
we
he's got
the
3.
Mind Rack Demon put back into his hand.
Mind Rack Demon and 2 other cards, whatever they are.
Yeah. I think I like... Oh, we got Nissa.
He's got
Tireless
Liliana
Striker.
in his hand, too. We know that.
Yeah, he hasn't played that yet. Okay.
No.
So Liliana, Mind Rack Demon, X.
Yep.
And I think I want to play Tireless Tracker this turn. Tireless Tracker play... maybe not, because I don't know if we have an untapped land. I know we have the Lumbering Falls.
Jones not real scared here about getting his...
It's a Dustwatch Recruiter in hand, I think, too.
Okay, so we're going to... No.
Yeah, he's probably
Thinks
going
better
Tracker.
of it. Tracker, yep.
Tracker,
Land.
tapped land, get
And,
flipped.
that's fine, because here's the thing. If you draw another land, then that Nissa will flip when you get your other land off her. So much more value.
Yeah, I think that's why we play the Tracker this turn, is because we want to get both of the clues possibly.
Mm-hmm.
But if your opponent tries to interact with the Tracker, it's fine. Like, we still got a clue out of it.
Mm-hmm. So, draw for Josh Stringer. Looks like he drew a land. Woodland Barrel would actually be okay here.
Woodland Pillar will always be okay. It's a 2-for-1. The card's great.
Tapping 2, tapping 4. Okay, I guess he's just going to replay Mind Rack Demon.
Yeah, probably.
No, he's pulling Liliana,
Yeah.
but she doesn't cost 4. Okay, so
No.
he's going to... There we go. Okay.
Take back a forest. Little take backs he's right going on. But you might take back, and play the Mind Rack Demon anyway.
Tough spot here.
Josh having a tough time deciding what exactly to do, and
Well,
totally understandable because Kevin Jones has assembled the Displacer Reflector Mage combo.
well, if you play the demon, chances are it's going back to the hand.
More than likely.
And then Jones is going to attack in with 5,
Yep.
possibly 6 if he pops a clue. I mean, this just shows you how great that Displacer card is. Two card difference in a deck between this and another another list. And such a different deck.
Yeah, we're just going to get the Displacer this back to hand, attack for 6.
Man, what a
Possibly 7.
what a back-breaking interaction.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. And that's fantastic, too. We hit our 6th land drop off the top.
We can
So we
play...
can-
Well, no, we're not going to play this at this turn. We're going to wait and flip her.
Yeah, we can flicker Mind Rack Demon back to his hand. Draw a card off of Tireless Tracker, the clue, and attack for 7 points.
I think you just attack here and you keep mana up the flicker again if you want.
Okay, we can do that.
Can.
I don't know if I like the flicker as much as putting my opponent to 8 with 7 power on the floor that can attack, and a
Sure.
Nissa that can flip next turn.
Fair enough. Well, here's the thing, though. You flicker whatever they have. So, okay, Liliana. And he knows he's got Liliana in hand. So, -2. Going to look for something. Doesn't get anything off of there. Okay, so he's got a tracker.
Sure.
So Josh will play the tracker.
That's a decent place to be.
He'll get the clue off of his land drop.
Is this just lethal? 3/6
I
2.
think
Yeah,
it
it's
might
just
be,
lethal,
yeah.
isn't it?
String
Yeah.
at 9. Untaps. Sure,
Yeah, he's
tapped
got
out.
6 power on the 2 non-reflector mage creatures. 7, 8, draw 2 cards.
9, yep, that's it. And Kevin Jones will take away regionals.
Star City Games Regionals Champion.
Kevin Jones.
The father. The daddy father Jones.
Was there ever a doubt for you, Josh?
Not even a little bit. I told you. Kevin Jones is a very well-versed Magic player in this deck. He's very, very good at it, and he knows the ins and outs of it. He knows what he needs to do and all the matchups. That's a good place to be when you're playing Magic like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Especially on not quite a larger scale. Like wouldn't compare to like an open, but like at regionals, this is great. You know what I mean? Like the knowledge of your deck and the caliber of your play is very good in a situation like this.
So we can hear the applause at the room next door. I assume... Do we even want him back on here? God, we've talked to him all day. What's he going to tell us? It's a great deck. Everything's good. Yeah, it was a good matchup, but the deck's just amazing.
Yeah.
And, Bad Company wins it all.
No, I don't think Kevin actually lost all day.
No, he's not undefeated, is he?
I'm pretty sure Kevin went undefeated all day.
Okay, then. Sure.
Yeah, I'm down to talk to him.
Yeah.
I always enjoy talking to Kevin. He's
absolutely.
absolute character.
I want to hear what Kevin has to say, certainly. Huh.
Updates on the Pro Tour. Yukihiro is tied 2-2 with Lucas Blohan. Sam Pardee is 2-1 with Brown. And actually, no, he defeated Brown. He had 19 2-2 zombies on the floor.
That is a lot of zombies.
That is a Liliana Ultimate, it sounds like.
Could be.
I believe that is the only way you can make that degenerately high amount of tokens.
So
playing.
is Turtenwald out of it then?
No.
Okay.
Turtenwald and LSV are through to the finals. So Turtenwald, LSV, Sam Pardee are through to the finals.
So now we're just waiting on one more.
Okay. All right. And then we have one more match in Yukihiro versus Lucas Blohan. The winner of that match moving on to the semis to face
Okay.
one of the other 3. It's probably some pretty exciting stuff. They're playing some fantastic decks over there. we are personally excited that they're on such a radically different time zone than us, and we got to have great viewership all day. Thanks everyone for watching the stream.
We appreciate it.
It's been fantastic. I've had a lot of fun sitting here with Bob, sitting here with Jim,
Josh,
Kevin.
it's been great.
Just all the guys we interviewed today was fantastic. We had a great stream.
If you guys get a chance, I'm just going to give a shameless plug. I have a podcast. It's all about standards. It's called Higher Standards.
Yep.
Fair enough. Josh is going to be on it in a week or two.
Yeah.
We're going to have Dan Ward on next week. He's going to give us a Pro Tour report. So if you guys have any interest, look us up on Higher Standards. We're on iTunes. And certainly you can look us up at Higher Standards on Facebook. All the shows are posted on there too. And so if you enjoyed my voice at all, we'd love to have you as a listener. If you didn't, well, you don't have to listen. That's the beauty of podcasts.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to be on. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah.
It's going to be great having Dan. The Pro Tour experience is always great.
Yep.
I always love listening to the stories and stuff. The
And
way
he's got
he died
he's got
to
good
LSV
ones.
was fantastic. I don't know if you heard that
No, I
story,
haven't heard
but
that story.
he was playing limited against LSV, right? LSV's got assembled alphas on the floor, and Dan just looks at the floor and he's like, all right, so even if he has a combat trick, I'm just fine, right? There's nothing he can do in this situation that beats me. So Dan's like, all right, all out attack with my 7 creatures. And LSV's like, okay, before blocks, I'm going to cast this 4-mana instant that gives my creature +2/+6, and I can block any number of creatures this turn. So he just goes, cast this, block all of your creatures. And I don't know if you know the text box in Assembled Alphas, but it's whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked, it lightning bolts. And he was just like, block all your things, deal your 21 damage, and kill you. Just dead. Just done. And
Seems
Dan
good.
was like, that if I'm going to lose a game, that's the way I'm going to do it to LSV right there. So,
Seems fine.
he was probably all right with that. I'd be all right with that.
You know what I'm all right with, though? I think I'm all right with getting some food. And
Yeah.
I think I'm all right with seeing all you guys tomorrow. We have Modern tomorrow.
Modern 5K PPTQ. If you don't want to watch, then come play.
Yeah,
Should
absolutely.
be great. We're not going to be competing with a Pro Tour tomorrow.
Yep.
Sunday's actually a pretty slow day, I think, for Magic streaming.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to have that. Kevin, the Father Jones, might have a few words for us. He might have a plaque to show us as well.
Be quick. I'll endeavor not to be as long-winded as I usually am.
So we're going to be here for half an hour instead of an hour.
Let's say about
That's all right. I wasn't that hungry anyway, Josh.
4.5
So don't worry
minutes.
about it. Kevin,
The Godfather.
congratulations, buddy.
Daddy Father's back.
Daddy.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it.
Kev,
Thanks.
good to have you back, sir.
Yeah.
That was some fantastic Game 1 play.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Dug yourself
Really
out of
close.
being
Yeah,
behind.
very, very close. You managed that very, very well.
It's weird because he's gonna do nothing but pass so he can burn me and then burn me.
Yeah.
And I almost tapped my company differently and then ultimately decided to leave up the coast in case I hit the one displacer that was left in my deck.
Okay.
And I actually hit the displacer and would have died if I hadn't done it,
Nice.
which was crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously, all I did was not make a mistake, so it's not like it was a great play or anything. But I just
But
chose
wait, how is that not a great play? You just
Sometimes
didn't make
that's
a
all you
mistake.
need.
chose to tap my mana correctly instead of losing.
Well, you should have heard Josh all day. So and so taps his mana and taps it badly.
Yeah.
Like taps it
Suboptimal?
wrong. Yeah, suboptimal.
Yeah, he's just like,
Say-
I'll use the Canopy Vista
You guys
instead of
use
this
the
play.
word
And so it's
interesting a lot. That was an interesting choice for the
Josh
tapping of
uses
the mana.
interesting
Yeah,
a lot.
that's kind of my thing
That's Josh's
recently.
word. Yeah, it's Josh's word.
But
But so
Yeah,
you
dude.
gonna come play Modern tomorrow, there, Kev?
I'm gonna test some stuff out for Syracuse. I can't promise you guys I'll play something real or good, but I'm gonna play.
I'm totally fine with both of those things.
I
play Thunderbreak
I
usually
could
in
always
Modern
play
sometimes.
Grixis, but I feel like it got a little worse.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. We'll talk about Modern tomorrow.
Cool.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And we look forward to it.
But yeah, I don't know. Really, everything went according to plan, I guess.
Yeah.
Basically,
you went
just-
undefeated all day, right?
Yeah, I had a plan for the Emerge decks. I said I had Ojutai's commands and summary dismissals for the Emerge decks. I had Negate, Ojutai's commands, and more Nissas for the black-green decks.
Okay. Did you bring in summary dismissal against Josh?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so.
Those
We were mulling it over, and it's really just for Emrakul, and it just seems super subpar
It's
against
for
Emrakul.
Emrakul, Elder Deep Fiend, and the flashback on Kozilek's return.
Okay.
Most importantly, those three things are
Wow.
the real.
Yeah, no, that
things
seems.
for.
Yeah, that's probably where we want the dismissal. Now that you've laid out all those things for me,
I
seeing that on paper.
also
is
boarded it in against the Crush of Tentacles deck because you just need every single counterspell you can get.
Okay.
I think it's justifiable to board it in against green-white, though I don't love it. It's an answer to Avacyn that's also an answer to Tragic Arrogance, which is
Okay.
an interesting thing to have in your deck Like, I don't necessarily want, a lot of negates. I don't necessarily want a lot of Ojutai's commands.
Yeah.
But I do want something that does both of those things. So whichever one they're trying to pinch you with on the critical turn, you can.
Yeah, that's what
So
I
I
really
think
dislike
that's
about standards
justifiable.
counterspells is they're just super narrow and like you
Yeah.
want things that can counter both, but like you got to pay a gratuitously high amount of mana for them.
It's the whole gut shot and divine offering in your deck, and you draw them in the wrong order, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you. But I'm sure you guys are exhausted.
Eh,
You want to rock and roll.
we're getting there.
Anything else to tell me or ask me?
No, man.
You've
Just
been great all-
congratulations on the
you-
day.
You've been great
thank
all
you.
day,
It's
Kevin.
been fun hanging out with you guys in the booth. I appreciate the
Yeah.
the outreach to let me do some
I'm-
rambling in that.
I was rooting like LSV style for you all day. I either wanted you to scrub out super hard so we could just
Just
have
hop
you
in the
all
booth?
day,
Yeah, right.
or you just win the whole thing, and like that's how it worked.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I was a little worried in game one when I mulliganed and then started getting like ranched by his spiders. He had
Yep.
a bunch of spiders. I'm like, oh, probably should have split. I'm an idiot. But then, I don't know. The band deck just goes long so much better than everybody else. Like
Yeah.
when they're seeing, even if they're seeing an extra card a turn or they have stuff that tutors or whatever, you're seeing 2 to 3 extra cards a turn.
Yep.
Just churning through, and you displacers inevitability that some decks just can't beat.
Oh, absolutely.
Blah, blah, blah.
Once you
So,
assemble Displacer Reflector Mage combo, like it's pretty much it. Like
Just the games, both games in the finals just ended because of it.
yeah,
There
absolutely.
were other games throughout the tournament, like in round 1, I think I was on camera in the mirror. It just ended
Yeah.
because of it.
Yep.
Yep.
I killed I blinked an Elvish Visionary. He drew a card and then took lethal damage
Yep.
against the Crush guy. But yeah, Displacer was really good. I don't think I would play more than 2 though. I don't want it to be a focal point of the curve. I want it to be
Yeah.
an incidental thing that happens later on in the game and then just slams the door.
Absolutely.
Well, Kevin, thank you very
Yeah.
much, man.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
man.
And we will see you tomorrow for Modern.
Yep.
Yeah, good
I'll
luck
see you
tomorrow,
guys
dude.
tomorrow. Take care.
And I
Thanks again
think,
for having me on.
Yep. Congratulations. So I think that's it for us.
Yes, it's been a fantastic day.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for watching,
We
for joining
appreciate
us
it.
during the off Pro Tour hours. You guys have been fantastic in the chat. We had fantastic commentators, friends that joined us, Jim Davis, people on stream, great decks. Like it was a really exciting day all day for sure.
Yep. So we will see you tomorrow. I assume Scott's going to move us out here in a second.
We've probably about 12 hours, I think, before we have to be back here.
Okay.
Probably roughly 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Gotcha. More coffee tomorrow.
Oh,
That's definitely
We're coughing so much better tomorrow than we are today.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm gonna win the coffee tournament.
So we will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
This is us signing off. Thanks,
See you
Kerwin's
later,
Game
guys.
Store, Star City Games Regionals. Peace out.
Woo! Scott, you want us to turn this off, the mic, or are we good?